Midget. Yeah, dude, off to a great start. I'm Strider Deep. I'm going to be DMing. Yeah.
Wordsmith extraordinaire, master of the English
I'm
language.
like Eminem too.
Absolutely. Incredible. We also have Zippy Zippo with us today. Zippy, how you doing, my friend?
I am doing great. I'm playing Shallot Wilbur Walla Walla Thaddeus Weatherfield's a interplanar traveling gnome who's stuck on the plane of the campaign that we're on, and I just have a pet owlbear named Owlicious.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We also have Charlie with us today. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good. Sorry, I was muted.
Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm excited. I'm playing Sienna, or Sunny, who's currently nearly dead as far as she knows, and made an epic last stand against the poisoner of the group.
Yes, indeed. And we also have James Haig with us today. James, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing very well. I'm getting over a bit of a cold, so I hope my voice is up to the task of playing this game today. I think it will be. I'm excited to be here.
Incredible. And you're playing
I am playing Qual, the Black Rose, a shadow sorcerer and former hermit. And eternal optimist.
Amazing. Yes, for myself, I'll be playing Morsam, who is the Tiefling Ranger, as I recall a few moments before we came live here. Yes, Morsam shrouded in, he's the Tuscan Raider of Encounter Roleplay. He's shrouded in all sorts of rags and dusty robes, and his companion is Charlotte Walla Walla Weatherfields. Wilbur Walla Walla Weatherfields, I should say. And he is something of a bodyguard slash babysitter for for Charlotte. So kind of his caretaker, I would say. So that's
my Alfred Pennyworth.
It's a beautiful relationship, which will only blossom. Well, before we dive into today's show, before we do a recap of last week's session, a quick shout out to our sponsors. D&Dice.co.uk, go check them out. Some awesome sexy dice. Get 5% off. Use the coupon code Encounter Roleplay at checkout, and you'll get yourself an extra sexy discount on some extra sexy dice. So when you're spending all your money, save a little bit of your money to set aside for something else, like, I don't know, food. But you can, of course, interact with today's show. I'm getting really into that. You can, of course, interact with today's show. You can hit that follow button if you haven't already. 20 followers, you guys get to decide something which happens next in our campaign. Also, here's a tweet for you guys. 20 retweets, viewer decision, and, of course, you can donate to affect the game as well. Give players now ones, now 20s, World Magic Surges, pets, and more. Other than that, though, I will hand over to our good friend Strider Heap, who will take us away on a magical adventure of sand. Strider, how you doing? Sand gets everywhere.
Oh, it's coarse and gritty. It gets everywhere. I hate it.
This is where we kiss.
Yes, off to Tatooine. We are playing Sands of Zehir today. Last time on Sands of Zehir, the party gathered together, meeting each other for the first time. They were all trying to be employed by the government, the Imperial Collective, who was sending people all over the planet to colonize, and definitely not an aggressive takeover. Just go tell them that their stuff is ours now. But though they were told only the best of the best adventurers were going on to this new glorious life, they were thrown into the brig of an aerial sailboat, a galleon that rides on clouds like water. They were amidst eyeless prisoners and all manner of sketchy people. This was certainly not the amazing new life they were promised. We had some shenanigans, some viewer decisions, and it was fantastic. And the session ended last time. They had flown over their destination. The shimmering lights of the city of Citadel is in the background. They are going over sand. And one of the party members attempted to poison the rest of her compatriots. I am, of course, talking about our missing character, Syndra. She was hit with a thrown knife from our tiefling, Sunny, and has been cut and knocked over. But the rest of the crew is approaching quickly, attempting to poison, and who knows with the other two standing people left. We have our two mages, actually.
Uh,
One small, mousy woman named Karima is screaming to the rest of the crew, Jericho said take them alive! And they are approaching with swords and with arrows, darts, all kinds of things, presumably coated in this poison. And I think this would be a perfect time to roll some initiative for those of us who are still awake. I
Oh
think
my
Will
gosh.
had about a round left in him, so he can go ahead and roll initiative too.
That's usually how I find myself struggling.
oh boy.
All right, I gotta bring up my character sheet here. It's been a whole 2 weeks.
Mm,
Who else is awake here with me?
Me and Qual.
Is it just me? Okay, good. Oh, sorry. Is it just me? And how many of these guys are we looking at here, Strider?
Probably 8 or 9, I'd say.
Oh, good. All right then. My initiative is +2. Excellent. Right. I got a 10.
These are fantastic rolls, friends. This is how I wanted a campaign to start.
Episode 2. Everyone else has been poisoned. You've got 1 round before you're knocked out. There are 9 people trying to kill you. Actually, they said they're taking us live, so we'll be fine. Just how much damage is done to us before that point.
One of the viewer decisions actually netted a player an owl bear as a pet last session. What did you decide to name this thing? It was Owlicious, right?
Well, it's Aloysius, like with an A, but yeah, somebody pointed out to me when I told them, it's like, you're really clever with those naming those animals. Ramsey the ram and Owlicious the owl bear, and it's like, oh boy, okay. But yeah, his name's Aloysius.
Or Ollie for short, right?
Yeah, Ollie.
Ollie.
Ollie, Ollie, Ollie.
Ollie is not too concerned with these people around. He is curiously, lopsidedly blinking, observing his surroundings, kind of looking up at you. Even though you look agitated, Ollie's kind of calm. Until a beak turns to the air, and you can't see nostrils flare, but you can tell this thing's sniffing. And eyes grow large, and little animal whimpers. I don't know what an owl bear sounds like, so you are treated to little terrified peeps, just and it is trying to work its way back inside the ship, down the stairs. It does not want to be out here right now.
Okay, Ollie, yes, yeah, great idea. You go below deck, and we'll deal with these ruffians.
And I think Morsan actually gets to go first.
That is me.
Yes.
that is my name.
Slayer of Ardians, befriender of dragons. What do you do?
And I responded to it. That was my internet connection there. That was just a little low ping. Sorry about that. Yeah. So 9 guys going towards me. 9 guys going towards me. Poisoned darts, clubs, and daggers. And Alindra specifically, who I think has poisoned me. Well, I'm going for Alindra. I'm sorry, so you ain't here, so I'm gonna kill you, girl. Can I shoot my longbow at her? Is that something like I'm at range to do, or are these guys like right up in my grill?
You can go ahead and do that this round. You might feel moral objections to shooting someone that's not actually here, but no, it's totally possible. Yeah, go for it.
No, I feel nothing. Straight, I feel nothing. Yeah, I think he would. Because she's the one that's behind all this. So 17. Boom.
I will just break out her character sheet, man. Let's just do
Whack
this
it out.
right if we're gonna do it.
I mean, I've
She
got
has
like
an-
one shot in me, right? So I'm like sluggishly dying from all this poison and being cast out. I think the one shot he takes is against
Yeah,
him.
your chest is hurting and seizing as your heartbeat slows down. Your muscles are kind of contracting. When you knock your arrow, you're not sure you could make your hand not grip up like that, but you pull it to your cheek and let go, and that is actually a hit on Syndra. So please roll your damage.
It's a years of like hand weight practice that is saving more sound right now. So it's a 1d8 plus 2 piercing damage. Goes into a slow motion montage. Minimum damage. 3 damage.
A glancing blow, but it still connects as the knife does, thrown by Sunny, and
As
she
I
hits the ground.
as I pass out, I Wilhelm scream. And then I'm gone.
The crew kind of shares a sigh in unison. Everyone's just kind of like, ugh.
Okay.
As we go on next to Shallot Weatherfields.
So there's eight people in front of us. Let's think. I think I'm gonna cast sleep and see if I can knock a few of them out.
Sleep is one of the most useful low-level spells I've ever seen.
I use it constantly. I love it. So let's see. Casting sleep at level 1.
shit.
Roll 5d8. The total of how many hit points of creatures this spell can affect. Creatures within 20 feet of a point you choose within range are affected in ascending order of their current hit points, ignoring unconscious creatures. Okay.
Well, let's see those dice, man.
Starting with the lowest hit point. Okay, so roll 5d8. I can affect up to 20 hit points.
1, 4, 5, 4, 6. Pretty good, actually. 20 hit points is going to see 4 of these. You've effectively cut their strength in half. 4 of the people kind of stagger forward, their eyes slowly closing, them trying to will through it, and just like you've always seen in the past, old reliable works as there are thuds as they fall to the deck.
Oh, well.
Sorry, go ahead.
I turned to the rest and say, "Oh well, I guess those were the useless ones. What about you guys? Wanna come at us if you think you're hard enough?" And he kind of takes a pugilist stance.
We are very hard. One shouts at you, but the other 3 observe the owl bear cub dashing for under the deck, and they kind of stop their advance. They throw their heads up towards the sky and start looking around warily. And that brings us to Qual's turn.
Wow, already on a 4. Okay. Qual looks as the 4 sleeping people hit the deck, and he first glances around to the rest of his team and says, "Oh, are we fighting them? Is that the plan? I'd kind of hoped it would just work out on its own." All right, well.
I mean, if you don't want to fight him, you can go around. If you touch the uvulas of our fallen compatriots, I'm pretty sure you can make them vomit up whatever leftover poison is in their stomach that hasn't already gotten to their bloodstream.
Oh, no. I do not touch the uvulas, but I do have this, and I'd like to cast Ray of Sickness at one of the remaining standing people. I don't know if there's any difference between the lot of them. Can I see any difference between the 4 remaining folks?
The only one that's really sticking out to you is the small mousy woman in back. She's not really participating with the rest of them, but even her attention's been grabbed and she's not quite looking at you.
Yeah, I'd like to focus the spell on her.
You can have advantage because they're all distracted.
Very nice. So Qual raises his hands, and it's as if liquid shadow is dripping off of his palms, and he gathers it into an orb between his hands, and he shoots it out of one finger, sort of, Spider-Man style. And let's see, a spell
It
attack.
smells exactly like Owlicious.
That's 1d20 plus 5. Bam. That's a 22 to hit.
I don't think you even need your advantage, but you can roll it anyway.
Could always get a crit. It's always possible.
Magic crit, yes.
Yeah.
Well, we certainly know one way or the other that is going to be a hit.
Well, a 23. No, that's fine. Let's get the damage out there. So I roll 2d8. That's 8 poison damage on that lady, and she needs to make a Constitution saving throw or be poisoned by me. That is
I am
not
assuming
going
a
to do
10
it.
is not enough.
No, so she's poisoned until the end of my next turn. So she's got disadvantage on just about everything.
This goopy liquid shoots out of your hands like you're some kind of spider man. And when it makes contact, it globs on her. Some of it falls to the ground, some of it sprays up into the air. Her face instantly snaps back down to the fight as she's kind of knocked to her senses again. But just for a moment. Then her brow kind of furrows and she falls to her hands and knees, and there is vomit spraying out over the top of the deck and dripping through onto the prisoners down below.
Oh.
And do you do anything else?
Oh, that's disgusting. This is why I do not hang around people.
Wait, you didn't know that was gonna happen when you hit her with your ray of sickness?
I've only used this one theoretically, mostly on small voles.
Oh.
Desert creatures.
Oh.
I did describe her as mousy. That makes sense now.
Oh, well, good job either way. So let's deal with the rest of these punks.
And we shall take our attention to the rest of these punks. The crew is not prepared, as I need our 2 remaining combatants to roll me dexterity saving throws, please. There's a sound. This ship is relatively silent. Do you guys remember last session when Shallot just started launching from like side to side and he was just sliding all over the deck of the ship?
And that's happening again.
Yes. For the ship is rocking again. You guys are silent like a cloud, so you can hear behind you for a few seconds this deep flapping woof, woof. And again, just like earlier, the ship pitches to and fro and starts rocking. The Ardians are able to keep their balance as their heads turn to the skies to see what's happening. And this time, you guys do not see scales. You do not see a dragon. First, you see flesh. A big, pointy triangle of a nose with 2 huge holes that lead inside this thing's skull. You see big ears with little patches of fur trying to cling on. And you see this mangy, matted, what could best be described as a bat the size of your entire ship. This, of course, is because of Grant's donation last time. I thought we were going to have a nice conversation and land this plane safely, but no, I should have known better. So thank you, Grant. Everyone...
That bad boy.
They're screaming, and there's a little bit of confusion. This thing does crawl forward, but it doesn't seem too interested at you. It's grabbing its hands towards this floating pink crystal in the center of the deck, the thing that has taken the place of the mast and is presumably your power source to keep aloft. And I shall... For whatever reason, it's pretty enamored with this. There's almost a glass sound as the claws tap against it, and then its gross little giant bat hands reach out and kind of start grabbing at this thing.
Hey, don't touch that. Don't touch that. Qual, you deal with these guys. I'm gonna stop that giant bat. He's gonna kill us all.
And we can actually return to Shallot's turn. So what do you do?
Shallot is going to cast Phantasmal Force on this giant bat.
Link me, baby.
Ba-bam! I tap into the nightmares of a creature I can see within range and create an illusion that is a manifestation of its deepest fears, visible only to that creature. The target must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the target becomes frightened for the duration. At the end of each of the target's turns, before the spell ends, the target must succeed a wisdom saving throw or take 4d10 psychic damage. On a successful save, the spell ends. I'm going to tap into one of the Sungazer's special abilities that I've taken called Insidious Spell. Whenever I cast a spell that forces a creature to make a saving throw to resist its effect, I can expend one of my lore die to make the creature more likely to fail. So I'm going to use one of my lore die, and when I do this, Shallot's eyes kind of have like blue emissions come off of it of power. He kind of looks more ghastly kind of deal. The creature would, if he would look, or if the creature ever notices Shallot, he could see that Shallot looks more devilish than gnomish kind of deal by tapping into this power. Starting from his fingertips, Shallot's hands start to blacken as he taps into this dark art. So that is a 1d6, right, for my level?
Yes, and I believe that will come directly out of this creature's saving throw, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. So roll 1d6. So whatever the creature rolls, minus it by 5.
It normally gets a +2, so it's going to have a -3.
Mhm.
Tell me, is a 0 enough?
A 0 is not enough.
Barely missed it. Dude, I don't see too many zeros in D&D. That's a pretty bad result. So, this thing is going to be whipped up into a frenzy as you can roll that damage, if I'm correct.
Yep. Well, it's at the end of its turn, not mine.
Okay.
So.
Okay. This thing is going ballistic. It is absolutely nuts. The weird sniffings, the heavy breathing, the weird squeaks it was doing are gone. Its mouth opens wide now, and you guys don't even hear anything. It's emitting some supersonic frequency. And that is the note. We can go to our next player's turn.
All right.
Our resident Black Rose, what do you do? The Ardians do seem rather distracted by this giant creature.
Was that the bat's turn?
The bat has not taken its turn yet. No.
Okay, just let me know.
Yes.
Is it indeed a bat?
It's the best way to describe this thing. It's looking a little mangy. It might have some large worms or some... It has patches of hair missing. It's sore and red, but it is squonking, and the best way you can describe it is definitely some kind of large to huge bat creature. Yes.
I'm going to look over at Shallot and say, Shallot, I don't think we need to keep fighting anymore. I think we need to search for a way out of this mess now. Maybe
Shallot,
grab our friends with me and help us go.
Shallot looks as he kind of like cups, like what he sees is the bat's mind in his hand as he holds it, and he looks over at Qual. Yes, that is a very good idea, Qual. Go
Charlotte,
fetch
you
our
slipped
friends.
into the car.
Go grab our friends, Qual. Let me at least get the bat off that giant crystal before it kills us all.
Get to the Batmobile.
You got it. And I'm gonna rush towards the nearest of my unconscious companions. Where are they?
They are kind of sliding to and fro on deck now. I think we have Sunny. I don't know if you're considering Syndra, one of your companions, but then we also have Morrison.
Sunny, Syndra, and Morrison, huh? Sunny's top priority. I'm gonna go to her first and just try and pull her out of this this room. Sort of try and get her onto the deck, away from all the nonsense that's going on right now.
You can get her up on your shoulder easily enough, but I will make you roll. How about a dexterity to keep your balance? Unless
Okay.
you have something else like an acrobatics or something that would work better for you.
No, I'm content with that. I'm not a strong man. Yeah. Okay, here comes dexterity. Hwah! Hey, 16.
Not bad. Her body is unruly and obnoxious to carry around when it's unconscious. It can't help you or put its weight in the right spot.
I've tried to
But-
pick up cats when they go limp. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. She is a limp cat. But no, you have her in your clutches. You can maneuver about however you like. Is there anything else you do? I'm going to say that only takes you but a moment.
Well, I'd like to get as many people as I can. So even if I can't get another person, I'm going to rush back into the thick of it, just so I can prep to grab someone else.
That works for me.
Cool. So I'm in there. I pick up my friend. I take her out, and I run back in, preparing to do the next thing. Cool.
Let us then go to our Ardian friends and our giant bat. The Ardians really don't know what to make of this thing. There are darts being shot up out of blowguns with little noises. And this thing is less frightened of them and more frightened of whatever vivid machinations are unfolding in its frontal lobes. With those kind of rolls, the gem in the middle certainly is not ripped away. It's not too late. But it does tilt just a bit, as in a flurry of flapping and inaudible screeches. This thing will take its damage. You can roll for that
Okay.
if you don't mind.
Yes, and as he would take the damage, Shallot like squeezes onto the projection of the bat's mind, and that's how I view that the damage is being dealt. Is like Shallot is literally trying to shatter this creature's will. So 4d10, 18.
What's your alignment? Lawful good? That sounds like something a lawful good character would do.
Chaotic neutral. And he looks at the bat and he's like, "I said off, you creature."
It uses it as a bit of a launching pad in this reckless, thoughtless flurry of bat wings across the ship. And it pitches over the side of the ship, pushing off of the crystal, not taking it with him. But there is an audible grinding, this high-pitched whir now, as the crystal is kind of sideways. The ship stops rocking and pitching, but you can also observe that the ship itself is just a little bit sideways now. And that was 2 more rolls really quick. Well, these guys suck. So they get to their feet. They look at each other. They see Karima is on the ground, vomiting and getting back up to her feet now. And this is not going well for them.
Shallot turns back to the Ardians, kind of like reverting a little bit back to Shallot.
Look, you could either give us the antidote and help us pilot this ship away from all the death and destruction, or we'll just toss you overboard and do it ourselves.
Karima is pushing herself up to her feet. Just we don't have one. Jericho, he has the cure.
Oh, well, damn. Right. Well, at least let us land this thing and, try to recuperate. Obviously, your
That
plan
sounds.
of assassination was flawed.
Charlotte, it sounds like we do need to get to Jericho. It sounds like it's the only way out of this mess.
All
No,
right.
no, shit. Assassination. No. We don't want to hurt anybody. She is standing in the pool of blood of the captain whose throat she has slit. Or he, yes.
Sounds like you've done a kind of
It
poor
is.
job of that, friend.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was that just an accidental casualty of the plan?
Then she gets her composure back together. She stands up. The ship continues to just slightly pitch more and more to the side as you talk. And
Oh
she's,
boy.
The crew is expendable. You are not. And it sounds to me an awful lot like you're trying to talk to people. And
Mhm.
just like real life, it's all about math when you talk to people. So let's see some charisma, maybe some kind of persuasion.
Well,
Is that how it works?
yeah, that's how it works. We'll throw a persuasion at disadvantage because I used a lore die. So 14.
Dude, that's pretty good for a disadvantage roll.
Would you like me to throw
The
in there as
others-
well?
You know what? You can, if you're helping.
Let's give it a shot. 12. Oh, nat 20 on that fake advantage over there, though. That would have been nice.
The others do stop and they kind of look up at Karima for some kind of guidance. And she's unsure what to do. Your friends, everyone can live. It'll be fine. But we need to hurry. They're in bad shape.
All right.
And I turn to Qual.
Undo whatever spell that you did on her so she can pilot this ship back to Jericho.
Okay. It's done.
Good. All right. All right, you livy jerks. Okay? I want you hoisting the mainsails and making sure that this ship is proper. And if you don't, I'm going to crush your brains. Okay? All right? Sound good?
I wouldn't argue with him. He's kind of a nasty one when you get to know him.
Despite their insistence on speaking Ardian, the nervous glances betray that they can perfectly understand what you're saying. They kind of shuffle over to their knocked out friends and kind of kick and poke at them. Just get up. And Karima's like, oh, I'm gonna get yelled at. I know I'm gonna get yelled at. I don't know how to fly a ship.
I look at Karima.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you murdered our only person who could fly the ship. Well, guess who gets promoted? You learn. Trial by fire.
If you want her to try to pilot the ship, I will not stop you. And we will see how she does.
Well, none of us know how to pilot a ship. So I would assume somebody who's been more well versed in riding them would know.
The way these people nervously look at the sails and are just kind of staring at Karima kind of give you the impression these aren't the normal crew members. They might not even know how ships work, but she will give it a try. Aloysius is poking his head around the corner of the kitchen now that the bat's gone and kind of eyeing up towards his mama to see if he can come out and if the danger has been vanquished.
Come on, Ollie.
And, do you guys want some more reflex saves? That sounds like more reflex saves to me.
That sounds like fun.
Reflex, I mean dexterity.
You can't make reflex saves because they're not in this game, so we succeed.
Oh,
That's how that works.
Obviously.
Hey, that's a nat 20, my man.
Oh,
You can hold on to the people you were piling together and keep them from pitching overboard. As Karima just, okay, we're tilting. She grabs the wheel and gives it a hefty yank, and you guys are pretty much horizontal now. You are sliding down and stopping on the actual like side railings of the ship. Down below, just a step forward, you see sands upon sands upon sands.
I look
There's an orange desert stretching as far as the eye can see.
I look over at Karima.
The other way. Turn the wheel the other way.
Oh, well, okay. She turns it the other way, straightens the ship out on a natural 20,
There you go.
and will kind of push this thing forward. It's not just a left and a right turn handle. It has 360-degree motion, and you can turn it and pivot it in its socket, as well as turn the wheel. And she slowly pushes forward. The nose of the ship starts pitching down, and you guys kind of level out again.
Okay. All right. How much farther until we reach Jericho, Karima?
She is wiping sweat off of her brow after almost pitching over the edge of the ship. Just, we're here.
Okay.
You guys see sand, but the ship is lowering.
I feel like I'm
in a matter
home
of-
again.
In a matter of just a minute or two, you guys are a couple feet from the ground. There's sands blowing around. And, okay. I don't know how to stop this, but we are here.
I see. Well, everyone to the back of the ship.
As he points, and then I look over at Karima.
And you take the nose of the ship and just go straight down into the sand. Don't worry about it. We'll be on the back of the ship. We'll be totally okay. And then that's how we slow it. No brakes, we make brakes.
Pirates of the Caribbean logic. Just all go down onto one end. I like
Exactly.
this. And we're still unconscious, right? Me and Sonny are still unconscious.
Unfortunately, yes.
Whereabouts unconscious are we?
You are actually in Qual's arms right now. He was trying
Oh,
to gather
beautiful.
you up,
Okay.
and he is making sure you don't get thrown overboard.
Stay
Feels-
asleep, stay asleep, stay asleep, little tiefling.
Gonna have a lot
Very last saving throws before we can get off of this ship and continue with our story. I would like to see some constitution from you two.
Oh,
Oh,
custom
I should
constitution.
have said dexterity. I should have said dexterity. Son of
Got
Ah.
it, dexterity. Ooh,
Oh,
that's a nat one on one side. And unfortunately, that's the side that matters.
Well, roll me a constitution save. For when the nose makes contact, you, all of your friends, and even the crew members.
Another one.
Oh my god!
It is not a pretty scene.
I go flying off the
crystals-
ship, I fly 30 feet through the air, roll on the ground.
The last thing you remember is the screaming of this crystal, the rending of wood as splinters go flying into the air almost in slow motion, and your friends are whisked out of your hands, and the ship, you see, goes flying off without you. Shallot, you are the last one who remains conscious.
Huh.
The Ardians are picking them up out of the sand. They themselves up out of the sand. They're looking around, checking on everyone. Karima's also been knocked unconscious by this. And they walk around the people who were asleep. How long do they stay asleep? Could they sleep through something like that?
no. I feel like that would definitely wake them up.
I would hope so.
If I cast it at level 9, probably I would see like, nah, they're Snow White.
So,
Not
this is
dead, my
for shoutout.
love.
Your friends are being picked up out of the sand when you kind of come to and stand up. They are hurriedly being whisked away. They're being dragged through the sand. It seems almost to nowhere, but as these people get 10, 20 yards out, suddenly they take a steep downward turn and disappear.
Well, come on, Ollie, who I just assume is just like, classic video game animal, just pops right by me whenever I call him, kind of deal. And it's like, all right, Ollie, let's follow the guys who just drug all our friends down into sand. You're gonna have to carry Mama, because Mama doesn't like to get sand in his slippers. So he mounts Aloysius and kind of nudges him forward.
Roll me an animal handling really quick. Yeah, okay, dude. Through discussion, you are able to keep your equipment, your clothes on, as you are able to join the rest of your friends at the back of a compound. Walking forward, you see the sand to your left is all sand, but the sand to your right is a sand-colored tarp, and you are walking underneath it. There has been a big cereal bowl cut into the ground. There's red stone lining the walls. And this place does not look like the rest of these infinite deserts you've seen. It is green, humid. There's plant life of all kinds. Some things you recognize, some things you don't. Vines grow across the bottom of this canopy to make a green ceiling. It's deep enough that you have palm trees down here. And there are troughs of water along the perimeter and almost every few feet along walkways. The humidity reaches up and drips off of the tarp from above. It's extremely hot here. You would guess it's sometime around 6 a.m., at least your time. And the sun had just started to come up, but it is already broiling hot outside. And it's not much better stepping under this thing, but it's survivable. Your friends are stripped of their clothes, weapons, equipments, and taken to a small, what could best be described as a cinder block building at the back of the compound. And you are heavily outnumbered now. There are dozens and dozens of people here. And you will be asked politely to join them in a temporary holding facility until Jericho arrives, because he is gone.
I stroke my beard.
I'll cooperate as soon as my friends get treatment for their ailments.
There is a huge, hulking human of a man. He stands closer to 7 feet than 6. He has a bald head, and he's one of the few that isn't wearing heavy robes or a turban. He walks up, and Karima, being drugged separately from you guys, looks up at him and kind of, oh, that could have gone better. Bashir, where's Jericho? And this big guy kind of sneers down at her. Jericho's gone. He will produce from his pack more liquid, more cooking broth, and kind of haphazardly splashing it on people's faces will force it from a little water skin into their mouths. They have their throats rubbed. It seems they swallow it. They are drugged away to this facility. And the first person to wake up will be Sunny, because she was out the longest in the first. Our tiefling is waking up. Sorry, what was that?
Oh, after I see that he's administering the antidote, Shallot just kind of like hops off of Aloysius and says,
All right, well, let's go.
and then he just follows him to the holding cell.
You are brought into a cinder block building. There's 2 cells made out of the walls and just an iron bar front facing. There are doorways made out of iron bars that they open and close and lock behind you. This guy glances and he kind of observes you all for a moment, leaves, and before long, Karima is in here, plopped on a little stool in front of your cell with some kind of small ice pack looking thing on her forehead. She's not watching you. She leans back against the wall, covers her face with it. And Sunny, you wake up first. You are in what could best be described almost like a jail cell.
Do I see Karima?
Yes, you do. She is sitting on that little stool in front of you. Aloysius is sniffing in your face and nudging you. This bald, fleshy, flabby cub. And the other bald, fleshy things here, too. Shallot, yeah.
I'm Booper, right? Booper's here too. Booper made it.
Of course. We cannot
Okay,
forget
yes.
about Booper.
Very
Your
important.
severed hand on a leash.
Little hand buddy.
Gotta hand it to you.
Shallot will go up and like give a hand to Sunny to like shake.
Oh, greetings and salutations. I'm so glad that you are awake again.
Where are we, Charlotte?
And then he thrusts his hand further into her face.
Well, it looks like we're here to get to speak to Jericho. I don't know who he is, but he seems to be gone, and he will return. Why don't you give me a handshake there, Sonny?
Booper like bounces out of her pocket and shakes hand, just like his leash dangling down.
Oh, whoa! How did you? Oh, see, when you fell unconscious, I took it upon myself to put Booper in my cloak. Wow, that's a pretty swanky hand. Totally ruins the whole. Huh. Well. All right. Well, anyways.
And then he looks over at Karima.
Karima tried to land the ship, and didn't do it quite well. And now we're stuck in here.
Isn't she the one that killed the captain? And I'm like trying to remember what happened in the distant fog of half an hour
Aren't we
ago.
all?
Yeah. She slit the captain's throat. Poisoned you alongside with Syndra. We had a giant bat climb on top of the ship, trying to take its aviation crystal, and then now we're here.
You were only knocked out for about 30 minutes, but it feels to you closer like it's almost been 2 weeks exactly.
That's a lot of information to take in, Charlotte. Are we prisoners now?
Nope, we are invited guests. We just happen to have a door that is not fully closed, and it's locked from the outside.
Looking down, you see that Shallot is also the only one with any equipment, clothes, anything. You've all been stripped of absolutely everything.
And am I still face down and unconscious in the desert, or have I been brought in?
They drug you in along with everybody else.
Okay.
So there's like body there that's Mawson, body there that's Cool.
Yes.
Charlotte, why are you the only one that's dressed? And I'm now thinking like Charlotte's been up to something, because this definitely reeks of Charlotte's fault.
Shallot reaches into his robe and pulls out an onion and like bites into it like an apple.
Well, when the ship came down, it pitched everyone into the sand.
Mm-hmm.
I was the only one that was conscious, by the way. And they wanted to relieve you of your equipment just in case you woke up into a violent fit. And I assume that you would want to kill them.
I don't know why they think we'd want to do that.
I don't know either. He's completely preposterous. But I told them that I would come with them quietly and I would cooperate as long as they administered the antidote. And he takes another
Morrison.
bite.
Morrison, with the pounding, throbbing headache that comes after a terrible, terrible hangover, you kind of start to feel at home in your body again, and your eyes open, revealing jail. Too bad this isn't Finbar.
I keep forgetting what my... Yep. More sand. It's me. Alright. So...
I'll start calling him Maury.
Maury, yeah, that'll be better. Excellent. Thank you, Crimson Phoenix, for that. So it looks like Charlotte gets a wild magic surge. That's good. That's good. That's not me. So Charlotte, whenever you get a chance. Morsan kind of wakes up, looks around him. Again. I look directly at Charlotte and like, Charlotte, what did you do?
I saved your lives.
Where
I
are
mean-
we?
You
We're-
are completely nude, and Charlotte is looming over you,
This is
yelling
not the
about how
first
he
time.
saved you.
You're right. This isn't the first time, and I'm pretty sure it will not be the last. But it was either this or we all die in a horrible airship crash.
The wild magic surgeries. The scent of rotten eggs permeates everything within 50 yards. Like,
Ugh.
oh,
Well,
why
I
does
mean,
it,
at least we have the onion to drown it out with.
why does it stink so much down here? Oh,
Oh, we must be in some kind of larder where everything rotted.
well, what are you
It's-
talking about? Airplane crash.
It is permeating the air, this smell. Kind of trying to gather your bearings. There's an empty cell to your left. There's this little hallway in front of you in which Karima's kind of passed out in front of you. Down the hallway, there's a doorway to the left that leads to another room. In front of you, there's the front door that leaves this building, and to the right side of the hallway, there's a doorway. And even though it's permeating the very rocks themselves, you can tell this smell is actually kind of wafting and coming from this doorway down there
Interesting.
to the right.
You know what?
My wild magic surge from Soldier 9 reads, my spellbook is stolen by someone on my way to the latrine.
I
That's-
steal his spellbook. Now know all the ranger spells.
I can work in sulfur smell or like egg smell.
Yeah.
I don't know about a ranger's spell book on the
I don't really have a
latrine.
spell book, but I've got some some other items that you could use instead of that. That might close my character sheet.
Can I swipe Charlotte's half-eaten onion and just pitch it at Karima's head?
Yeah.
Okay. Does that be a dex attack?
I will even let you just hit her with an onion for free.
Yeah.
Alright. Then I just like pitch this thing at her
deal.
head.
Charlotte looks over at Sunny.
Huh? I never thought about doing that. I'm gonna try it next time.
And he
She
turns-
sits up, ripping the sack over her eyes off to the side, and kind of splutters and almost falls out of her chair. And she's just, ow, what the hell? What?
Clothing, and then an explanation. And I'm just like gonna cover myself, realizing that half the party are now awake and I'm not wearing anything.
Oh,
Charlotte looks over at Sunny and then looks back at Karima, and then he kind of takes off his his long black robe, and he like holds it up to Sunny and kind of throws it over her, and like now Charlotte's in nothing but like he has his long gray violet striped beard, and he's in his sheep boxers.
I
There
wear
you
it
go.
like
this long black gnome robe would definitely be like a tank top on you.
yeah, I wear it kind of like you know when you only have the hair towels left clean, so you use that and you wrap it around you and you just hope you keep it covered.
You can actually, Sunny, roll me some kind of charisma check, like a persuasion or something.
Sure can. 11.
Ow. I'm not supposed to be talking about it. I'm sure clothes are fine.
Yes, clothes are a good start. Yes.
Yeah, give me a minute. Okay. She hops up and grabs a little lantern from her side and waddles out. She doesn't go to the left, she doesn't go to the right, she goes out the front door of the building. The sunlight is blinding as the door opens.
I like
and then
squint to
closes
try and
again.
get a view out there.
You can roll me do we still have perception? Yes.
Yes, we do.
Roll me a perception.
Oh no, that's performance day. Look at that. 17.
You sing beautifully, and you see plants and palm trees, that kind of stuff, but it's only gone for a second. There are windows in here, but for whatever reason, they are covered. The bedrolls, the best way to describe them, are tied up to little tiny gaps near the ceiling and the back wall from where you guys are. They run along the perimeter of the cell, and you guys can smell a little bit of fresh air amidst the rotten egg mist. But for whatever reason, they have tied the bedrolls up to the windows.
I'm gonna go check on Cool.
Pushing and shoving on him for a minute, you can eventually get him to come to. He might be a little concussed, but
So slapping him across the face wouldn't help the situation.
you won't know if you don't try.
Best fix for a concussion.
Just slam that brain against the interior cranium wall. Just one more side.
It's like kicking a jukebox. It's gotta fix it, right?
Exactly.
You gotta even him out.
I don't like do the full wind up. I just feel one of those like tight spanking.
You are all awake in the cell.
Oh.
Owlicious is kind of nipping at Shallot's heels, and then he's trying to reach out of the cell to grab that onion.
Am I back home? It's hot and it looks like a cave. Am I back home?
No,
think so.
you're in a prison with us.
I'm going back to sleep then.
Okay, good night.
He's not asleep. He's
Well, at
closed
least
his
he's
eyes.
alive.
Yeah, shrug. He's alive.
He's questioning his life decisions.
Charlotte, explain everything to me. There was airship, we crashed, and now we're here. And why are they holding us here? Are we in jail for a crime, or they just left the door open?
No, we are not honored guests, but we're invited guests to speak with a man named Jericho, or Jericho,
Okay,
or
and why
Jericho. Jericho, that's the name.
and why am I naked?
Oh well, Morrison, and he says, and he looks. They didn't want you to harm them or kill them or anything, so they took all your equipment.
My clothes are no danger to them.
That's what I said. But they were like, do you see how many raps this guy has?
A strong part of Morsan doesn't believe that Shalla resisted. Fine. Fine. Then we should go meet this Jericho person, I suppose. Maybe he will give us gloves.
With another flash of blinding light, Karima returns with nothing that could be considered armor, no leathers or anything, but with sacks, cloths, that sort of stuff. And she'll walk up and kind of push it through the bars of the cell. Just, I found this.
Sunny is resisting every urge to throttle her through the bars of the cell right now.
Her arm is hanging through the bars.
Too tempting. Nope, not there yet. Not there yet.
Just put on the sackcloth and let us all put on some gloves and be civilized. Karima, we all fucking hate you. But thank you for this.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
You've done this before?
No, just for everything else. And she will plop back down on her stool and hold her head
It's
in
not
her hands.
it's not so much just what you do, it's more so who you are. We hate
As a
everything
person.
that you choose to be.
Yes.
Well, Gual, it's time to wake up and put some clothes on, my friend.
Am I naked?
Yes.
Oh my god. Well, okay, that's fine. I did that when I was alone. I should fix it if I'm around people.
You took off your clothes. Like,
No one was around. I lived in a cave by myself.
I thought you
talking-
meant like a few minutes ago you took off your
No, the shadows don't care if you're wearing clothes when you communicate with them. Only other people do that.
That's very nice of the shadows. I suppose they help hide your nakedness.
Exactly. Now, where are my robes? Where is my hat? Where are my roses?
Everything's gone, my friend. They've taken it all because it's all dangerous, apparently. We have to speak to this Jericho person who's had us invited to his house? Castle? Not sure where we are. exactly.
Party?
Probably not that one, no.
Karima's head kind of pops up when you say party, and she's
Yeah, party, right? Right, Karima? This is all one giant surprise party, right? Right.
You
And,
could say that. Yeah. There's going to be lots of surprises and lots of parties. Yes.
Where's the poisoner?
Yes.
She has my dagger, I think.
And my arrow.
Not anymore. She is currently being removed of said dagger.
Oh yeah, no, I saw that dagger hit. A+ job there, Sonny. Spot on.
Thanks, Charlotte.
Look, you guys, I don't know. Jericho said that that's little detaily stuff, and to leave the little detaily thinking to him.
Right.
You know, he's a big thinker, him.
Yes, you are not.
Well, no one is quite on the level he is.
I go over to the bar and like I kind of stick my hands through and I kind of look like the guidance counselor, you know, sitting on the back of the chair kind of deal to look like leveling.
So level with me, Karima. You fancy this Jericho guy?
Well, we all should. Everyone. Everyone should be so honored to be in his presence.
Oh, okay. So what's so good about him?
Yes, tell us more about this wonderful Jericho.
Yes, I want to know more about this handsome man.
Yes, tell us how
Well,
handsome he is. Tell us
he is.
exactly what he looks like.
He definitely is.
And
He's
all of his weaknesses, if there are any.
none at all. He's
I
a genius.
find that very attractive in a man when he is fragile.
Well, he's a genius. They say the gods talk to him. They whisper voices into his head, and that's how he knows everything.
Charlotte's nodding. Sounds like your classic psychopath. I've come across many of people who claim to speak with gods. You know what's funny? Gods find us so insignificant that they don't even care about us.
You sound just like him. That's what he says every single time we bring up the gods.
Oh,
Yes.
And I turn back to Morrison.
this might get a little confusing if he is what I think he is. Oh boy.
I love a man with family values.
What do you think he is, Charlotte?
Well, I feel like he's peered beyond the veil and now
Oh, I've done
knows the
that.
truth. You've done that too?
Yeah,
How
I know
many-
the truth.
How many people peer beyond the veil? You know you're not supposed to do that, right? It kind of makes your brain explode.
They put the
What's
veil
the
there
veil
for a
for if you
reason,
don't
my
look
friend.
behind it?
Oh boy. Right.
They didn't just put the veil there for, for fun. It's put there for a reason.
And I turn back to Krima.
All right. So So tell me about, is he a religious leader, but he's not really religious? This is a cult, but not really?
No. We're not a cult. He he found me in the streets in the trash can like some kind of animal, and he tells me you're not a mouse. Come here and live with me. I have food and water, and you just have to do what I say. And he's so smart.
And he has magic?
Well, it has to be, right? He says it's ingenuity or whatever, but no man can do the stuff he does.
What does he do?
Oh, there's these really cool. And she kind of glances to the sulfur-smelling room, and she's like, "Shouldn't talk about that."
It's okay. We're all friends here, Karima. Remember, we were just on a crash together. It was very scary and traumatic for all of us, and it's a bonding experience.
Yeah, exactly. You can tell us if there's demons behind that door.
Even though we still hate you.
Her whole body rocks, and her knees go up and down when she shakes her head like a little girl. Just no. He told me, I need to see where he is. He wasn't supposed to be gone. You guys can take the bedrolls down if you want to. This razor sandstorm's past.
Right. And I look to my compatriots. Well, this is great. But I'm completely knackered. I am going to go grab one of these bedrolls and take a nap.
She walks out the front door, and someone can cut down one of these bedrolls for you. They are awfully high and towards the ceiling.
Not sure I'm tired, Charlotte, but here you go. I'm more intrigued to be getting going. What's that eggy smell coming from that room? She wanted to tell us something, but then she thought twice.
There's a few things that be causing that eggy smell. Like rotten eggs could cause that eggy smell. Sulfur could. Demons. Nothing to really worry about, really. And he like kind of gets in the bedroll and he kind of like snuggles up, kind of deal. And he's
The
like,
bedroll is made out of reeds. You do not recognize them. They are bound tightly together. They are obviously just natural to this kind of environment. It is not good for a sleeping bag. It's good for lying on. You can't really move them. They are very, very resilient.
Oh, he just kind of throws it on the ground, and then he just kind of like lays planks as he just like kind of snuggles
In
up.
fact, Morrison, you are our knowledgeable dude. Do you want to make like a nature check? That's a check.
I told Sam. My nature check is a +3. So, 14.
14. You may not have heard these reeds, but you have heard of razor sand storms. It is literally like being accosted by razors. It shreds everything. It destroys buildings. It destroys compounds. It's taken down entire cities. And if this works to keep it out, that means it is probably very, very resilient, at least to that specific kind of natural thing. Meta-wise, almost invulnerable to piercing damage.
Alrighty. And Fade a Crimson Phoenix, nice £5, gives a wobble of a dub-dub, and a D10,000 to my good self. Thanks, Brian. Alright.
You are delving into your mind to understand the nature of these reed bed mats and how they cannot be harmed. And what happens?
As I look at, I peer beyond the veil. 8207. All dwarves within 10 miles are violently allergic to gold.
There's a smash cut, and there's like this dwarven miner. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go get myself some gold today," and he like knocks one off. And he's like, and his like face swells up, and then he just passes out.
I finally struck gold! we got it, and ow! What? No!
Incredible. Well, I say, these razor sandstorms are very dangerous, but they say it's almost passing. Could have delayed this, Jericho, but I say, is anyone else wanting to break out of here? I mean, I don't really want to stay here.
I sense that we need to find out what Jericho wishes with us. We were brought here for a reason. It would serve us ill to defy that reason.
So you want to stay here and wait for Jericho?
I do.
Look over to Sunny.
I don't know if this is such a good idea. I generally find when you're caught by people and they've gone to the effort of poisoning you to get you there, generally you don't want to be around when they wake you up because whatever they're going to do is probably going to be worse.
Right, from my experience with Charlotte, that much is true.
And pan over to Charlotte. Charlotte's just like sitting there, and he's like, as he's like laying on the bedroll.
However, without anything, I'm not sure how we're going to get out of here.
We had that onion until you gave it away.
I'm sorry, I lost us the onion.
I've seen Charlotte do things with onions that you wouldn't believe. But fine, I guess there's not much we can do.
Can I inspect
Episode
the
2,
bars?
The Great Onion Jailbreak.
Didn't you know this was an episode of MacGyver?
Yeah, can I inspect the bars and just check out how structurally sound they are, and if there's any like special hinge I can just angle and
Up
lift?
in barrel hinges. Gotta check.
This kind of stuff will require rolls, of course. Perception, some kind of relevant knowledge.
I'm a tomb robber.
Did Sienna build these bars?
No, she didn't, unfortunately. No, she has no idea what she's looking at.
Your head is kind of fuzzy, and there's this throbbing pain in the back of your skull that's kind of preventing you from employing your full tomb robbery experience here.
If
The
only I
bars
had my
look
whip.
pretty solid.
If I had my whip, we would be fine.
You have a whip. Don't think I've seen that in action. Well, I guess you could pull these bars off with it.
No, but I could probably grab something from out there and
Oh,
figure something out.
thought it was magic whip.
I wish it was a magic whip. That is something I will invest in.
Hmm. All right. I grab a sleeping roll and sit down. Well, I guess we wait for Jericho.
We can fast forward if that is the general consensus.
Yeah.
Thanks, sir.
You can hear noises during the day. Sleeping is almost impossible. It does help to get some fresh air in here so it's not quite so stuffy. But the temperatures are... I'm playing with people from the UK, so I can't use Fahrenheit temperatures.
Don't worry.
It's
Oh,
stupid
no.
hot, yo.
Yo,
Oh yes, that American system.
Ah, yes, stupid hot yo. Let me convert that. Yes.
Noises can be heard from the smelly room to the right, and a few hours of sitting in this sweltering heat go by when the door flashes open again, this time not so blinding that the bedrolls have been taken down out of the windows. And you guys see this Bashir, this bald man from before, this nearly 7 foot tall guy. He carries with him a huge double-sided axe, two-handed weapon in the hands of a dwarf, but for him, he could probably swing it around in one hand. And he glares down at you. Karima never came back.
Conveniently, is there any gold on this axe of this dwarf's?
Yes, actually, it is a gilded handle.
How interesting. Not that I know about the allergy thing, but
Touch it.
He comes over wordlessly, again observing everyone closely, then pulls out a little ring of makeshift iron keys off of his belt, opens the door, and just motions to his left.
are we going somewhere? I'll straighten up my miniskirt sack and little cloak bandana situation that I have going on.
It is time to see Jericho.
Okay.
Charlotte pops
Good.
up. Oh boy! And he grabs his staff and he
Hey,
walks
welcome.
out in his sheep boxers.
Great. Which way?
Would
He
Jericho be
motions
kind
towards the
enough
front door.
to grant us with something to throw over ourselves? A cloak, perhaps?
That is not for me to say.
Oh no, Jericho, you probably wouldn't understand it if he told you anyway.
You get daggers glared at you, but he dares not betray the orders to bring you to Jericho unharmed.
I say to Charlotte, now when we meet this guy, try not to annoy him. Molan, you already will.
Oh, don't worry. Worst case scenario.
I hold his mind in my hands and I crush it.
It's really creepy when you do that. Please keep that voice inside your head.
I felt like it was inside my head.
Yeah, it was.
It probably. Well, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Voices and heads.
And he kind of like just starts walking towards a general direction.
Uh-huh.
What about Qual?
I'm with them.
Okay, you guys are ushered outside. There's a little bit more hustle and bustle than there were earlier. The tarp is magnified, super bright from the sun beaming down on this thing. And there's almost water in the air as you walk about. Walking forward this cereal bowl, the circular compound, most of the buildings are built on the outside, the perimeter. And in the middle, there's a large water pool. You see some people from the entrance that you came in. At least Charlotte knows you came in that way. And they have ropes around this giant purple crystal, the same one that they've recovered from the wreckage of your ship. And they are easing it down into the camp, rolling it down the hill. There's also pieces of the ship that people are trying to pull in here as well. It is broken, unrecognizable. But just ahead, standing in the center of this group, there are two tall men, one to the left and one to the right of a slightly shorter person. You see dingy gray robes and skeletally thin hands sticking out, and orders are being barked. Yes, right there. Bring that. Careful, it'll blow us all up. But yes. I don't know. Put it over there. Bashir walks up and clears his throat, and this kid spins around. You guys see Jericho for the first time. He's a little bit shorter and a little bit younger than most of the people you see around here. You'd peg him as a human no older than 22, 23. He has a little bit of facial hair growing in patchy on his face. He has huge black circles under his eyes. It looks like he's not slept in weeks. His hair is black, but already beginning to turn gray. And again, he's skeletally thin. You can tell by his complexion. He is a little bit more pale than most of the Ardians around here. And as they are kind of accustomed to this heat and this sun, the slight tinge of red, the little bit of sun burning on him, would place him more likely not a native Ardian, but more likely he's from the Imperial Collective, like you. He has a huge grin spread across his face once he realizes you're all standing in front of him. And he throws his arms wide and, well, friends, how do you like my home?
It's hot. It's sticky. And it's rather annoying.
It's super hot, yo.
All best things are. Wouldn't you
See
say?
that, Morrison? He said all best things are annoying.
Jericho, I presume.
Oh, where are my manners? Yes. My name's Jericho. How do you do?
Why have you brought us here, Jericho? It's a pleasure to be in your home, but I don't know why we're here.
Normally, when doing introductions, other people say their names as well. Morrison, Sienna, Charlotte, Wall, nice to meet you all. As for why you are here... What? Do you not like my hospitality?
Oh, that's what it was. Oh, it was some weird hospitality. I get it. You slice the neck of the captain, you poison all of your guests, and then you throw them in a dark, dingy cell that smells like sulfur. Yeah.
Your brain is not as small as the rest of your body. Perfect. Yes, I may have had ulterior motives. But I wish you no ill will.
All right, so what do you want us? Why are we here, Jericho? Why have we been diverted from our previous destination to right here?
I just want to see my new neighbors safely arrive in Citadel or wherever their destination is unscathed.
I look back at the group.
Unscathed, he said. All
I may
right.
not know much about human behavior, but even this seems like a stretch. Unscathed. Your lackeys wanted to poison us.
Tell me, Charlotte, in your collection of books that you have about your person, Sienna has noticed because she tried to mug him at one point, did you happen to have a dictionary?
I don't need a book for a dictionary. I am a dictionary. What do you need?
Unscathed. Let's start with that word.
Okay.
And he his eyes roll back as he tries to come up with it.
Okay, unscathed means all right. No, that's unscarfed. No, there you go. Unscathed. There.
Without suffering an injury, damage, or harm.
Cool. How's your head feeling?
Well, a little
Scathed?
Scathed. Yeah, scathed is the perfect word for it. And I turn over to Jericho and I say, by the way, when the ship crashed nose first into the desert, I was thrown off of its deck and flew something like 30 or 40 feet in the air, and then smashed my face into the desert. So if you were wondering if I was scathed or not, that's how scathed I was.
But were you scathed because of my doing or because of your own doing?
Well, your people kind of, killed the person who could fly the ship.
My people are not my people. This is my family. Bashir, say hi. And he looks at Jericho and then nods at you. See, look, friendly family. And as for their intentions, they did not want to hurt you. They were simply doing what I told them to do. So, please don't blame my family. And he goes over and pats Bashir on his huge shoulder. I can't imagine what would happen if someone were to blame them. Blame
What
me.
do you want, Jericho?
Nothing. What, do you want to go? You can go. Bye.
Oh.
Wait.
Oh. Well, we did it. We've solved the challenge.
Yes, go
That
collect your
seems to be-
things. Don't let the top hit you on your way out. Get out of here.
I kind of stroke my beard, and then Jout looks over at him.
You went through all this to get us here unscathed, and you don't want. I feel used. I feel violated. You know what I had to do to giant creatures? I have a baby owlbear following me around. What? Okay, all right.
Where is all of our stuff?
He motions over to a small, very small building, more like a shack, not too far from where you're standing in front of this little jail compound. It is all in there. And as the gracious host that I am, I will even fetch it for you myself. And the two people at his sides look up like, us? No. Come on, come with me. And he walks out in front of everyone over to this little building and starts piling what can easily be recognized as your stuff into his arms.
Can Boop see any small daggers or coin purses associated with the two gentlemen in the room?
Sleight of hand. Is that what you said? It sounded like you said sleight of hand.
That is what I said. 17.
Yes, they are relatively... they don't travel heavy. They don't have much on them. They have scimitars. They don't seem to have much money, but they all have these little flasks or water skins on them. Most of them are gilded and have some kind of gem or fancy filigree. You can catch a little bit of money.
Alright, Boop will swipe something and scurry back.
You have a small filigreed flask. There's a little bit of water or some kind of liquid.
Yeah, some kind of liquid in there.
Sloshing around.
I'm just gonna tuck it into my sack skirt and pretend nothing happened.
So Jericho, let me get this straight. Elindra, she poisons us to bring her to you, and now you just want to let us go free?
Well, yes, I'm not in the slave-making business.
Implying that Elindra is?
Or someone may or may not be. I'm not pointing any fingers, but I suppose the reason I brought you here was more personal. Apologies if this was, And he just shoves everyone's stuff into your arms. Uncomfortable or out of the way, just... I wanted to plant a seed before you get to your new home.
I've spotted that. No, I don't know about that.
Not in your mind, friend. A seed in your mind.
Okay.
This imperial collective of yours. You may need to keep your eyes open.
I had no intention of closing them. But what is it that you know?
What exactly were you promised? Riches, a new life, a hero's journey to become the stuff of legend and songs?
I was under no such illusions, but the king and his lackey, whose name escapes me, they did offer us that, I suppose, yes. Although when we got there, it was a ship filled with prisoners, and we were locked up. So, it seems as though this grand journey is more of a, testing out on guinea pigs.
He gets a little too close for your comfort, right up into your face. His mouth smells like rotting teeth, and he smiles. I like you. You are smart. You are clever. You see why I brought you here. See, I let people out of jail. I'm into the business of freedom.
I'm not sure it counts if you put them in there to begin with.
Well, what does it matter? If you let a bird free, it's happy to be free. It doesn't mind that it was caged for 20 years.
Who was caged for 20 years?
Yeah, I feel like that was on a very personal level there, Jericho.
Yeah, that was intense.
Were you...
I am not a bird. That thing, he's a bird. Pointing at Owlicious, of course.
He's a very beautiful bird bear thing.
And we're running out of things to learn from this man.
Shallot goes up and he places a hand on Jericho's hand, kind of like a buddy shoulder.
You can tell us, Jericho. Did somebody lock you in a cage for 20 years?
Not exactly, no.
Who hurt you, man?
Friend, if you think you are out of things to learn, then you are truly ignorant. Only one truly enlightened is always knowing that he should be learning and new ideas. new ways of thinking.
I
Right.
have the spirits of the darkness to teach me. I don't need to learn from you.
You can see a visible souring of his face when you say that.
Jericho, why
Yeah.
don't you teach us one last lesson before we go walking in the desert? We're
I
clearly-
like the way you word things. You're trying to emotionally manipulate me. What is it, friend?
I
Well,
What is your question?
I was just curious what it was you wanted to tell us. Clearly, you wanted to tell us something. And
Yes,
currently, you
we-
haven't told us anything.
Keep your eyes open about that Imperial Collective.
Open for what? That's very vague and nondescript.
Mm,
You're basically subtweeting the Imperial Collective right now, and it's not very helpful.
not okay. Not cool.
I am vague posting. I am not vague posting about anyone in particular. I'm just vague posting.
I mean, the
So-
analogies of birds and cages and slaves.
So, yes. So the Imperial Collective, they are slavers? Is that what you're saying? The king has sent us into slavery here?
Slavers might not be the perfect terminology. I like to think of it more as a butcher shop. You come in, see all the fresh pieces of meat, decide which one you want and think is best, and then they lead it to the slaughter.
And where is the slaughter held?
He opens his arms again, gesticulating at everything around him.
And there are dangers out here then? What are they?
Namely, the Ardians.
Okay.
You see, there's this friend of mine, and he's not as welcoming members into his family as I am.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, how long has it been? How many years have you sent people here? And yet one little town is all you can build. Every other homestead, town, whatever you want to call it, they're all dead.
And the audience killed them?
Well, for the most part, yes.
How did you make it here, Jericho? How did you see through the lies that the Imperial Collective are clearly peddling?
Because I am not indoctrinated. I am not a slave. I am a free thinker. And I am not from your land. I was born here in Ardia. Ard O'Hara.
hmm.
I'm gonna glance at Mawson to see if he has any idea of where we should go next.
Well,
with this.
he's interested because Warsan does not like the idea of captivity and came here to find a home and to find freedom. So he says, and how did you free yourself then? And how? Tell me more. I am very interested in this.
That is the 1,000,000 gold question. If you have an answer for that, I'm dying to hear it. You see, I found myself here in this little caldera, 6 years ago. And the funniest thing, I did not know what I was. Strange, yes? I know it sounds like a bard's tale. But I didn't know what I was, who I was, where I came from. But I saw these hands, these are mine, and I can use them. And I have built myself a fantastic home and made a tremendous family for myself. Wouldn't you say?
Very happy for you. So this is the only place here that one can survive.
Well, no one can survive out in the desert, but the citadel is merely 2 days' trek from here if you have some kind of locomotion.
Where might we find such a thing?
Well, this is a hub of life in all kinds of movement and locomotion, I'd say. probably here.
Interesting.
Right, so now we're here. What do we do?
There's some creatures. They will be happy to take you wherever you want to go, as long as you promise you will return them to me. They know their way home. Don't keep them. Up by the front gate. You can't miss it. Good luck to you. Have fun wherever you're going. Bye-bye. And there is a bit of a rumbling coming from that sulfur-smelling room. He's like, I should probably go check on things.
Yes. Yes, you should.
Don't worry, friends. You'll see me again. And he will walk off. Bashir kind of just waiting there nervously, not sure if he's supposed to stay with you or go with Jericho.
I turn to Qual and shout and say, "We waited for that. Really?"
I was waiting for a bow before me. I am great Jericho, leader of this cult.
Yeah.
But he
I
brought
was hoping
he
for
brought
this
us
something.
further than our. Okay, all right.
I've met more interesting men in sales bazaars. He was some sort of middle manager.
I was
I-
looking for some kind of big evil guy, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, some corporate head.
Shallot grabs his robe and he throws it over him, and he like puts his belt around his robe, grabs his staff.
All right. Well, I guess you better go to the Citadel and figure out what's
I don't
going
know about
on
the
there.
rest of you, but I do feel like Jericho is hiding something from us. I think he is serving someone a little bit greater than he is.
I mean, what's down there? He seemed very keen to get back down to his rotten eggs.
Well,
Yes.
seeing as there's one hallway down to that room that we know about, we'll need somebody pretty sneaky to sneak over and.
Well, if only we knew someone like that, Charlotte. Someone that could get in and out of places.
Oh,
But
it
I
just
didn't
squonks
see
at you.
Not you. not what I was going for, no.
No, not you, Ollie. You have a lot to learn. I said, yeah, perfect. Sonny, don't you have the capacity to sneak by people?
And they're like putting on my little roguey gloves, adjusting all my tinker's tools. Not tinker's
And-
tools, like lockpicks tools.
Just a quick note for you guys. Looking through your stuff, it seems everything is absolutely here and nothing has been misplaced or apprehended or taken.
That's good. I let out this long sigh of relief as I put my hat back on.
All right, I will go and have a look down the hall.
If you get in trouble, just scream like you're about to die.
Yeah,
I
and
promise.
and if somebody comes up behind you and tries to slice your throat, just make a loud noise before you die. Even if you can't yell because you're gurgling.
Whenever I pass out, I make the scream. It's like, ah! It's very useful.
I will bear this in mind, and I
learned
will
it from
hope
my friend Wilhelm.
that maybe one of you would like watch the back, you know, make a squawk and let me know people are coming.
Oh, of course. And Shallot creates like 3 mirror images of himself, and we like look at Sunny, and in unison,
We'll watch your back.
I've never been more reassured about anything. Okay.
We have a viewer decision here on 20 retweets, right?
Woo!
Ooh, tremendous.
Yes.
Players, if it isn't too much to ask of you, temporary muting of yourself. Will, you need to listen because you guys can throw off headphones or something really quick if you want. I would appreciate it.
Hey, everyone but who?
Will.
Okay.
He needs to be my liaison to chat.
Excellent. Okay.
Jericho has invented with a system, an advanced system of levers and pulleys, giant siege machines, harbingers of war, things that can cause quite a bit of devastation. They are made out of trees. He's carved little cogs and pulleys. He's using reeds as armor and as rope. I think it not necessarily have to be a real creature. It can be a fantasy themed thing. These should look like something, and that will function concoction how they run too. If they look like scorpions, they'll have a giant tail that can shoot stuff. If they look like a burrowing mole, maybe they burrow underground. So, give me a dragon, an owlbear, some kind of anything. It could be real, it could be fantasy.
So are
And
they like, what would you say, they're like constructs?
they're giant vehicles.
Giant vehicles. Okay, cool. Okay, so on D&D5E line in chat, guys, throw some ideas for giant fantasy or steampunky vehicles. Do they fly or do they just go along the ground?
Depends what the chat says.
Yeah. All right, D&D5E line in chat. What do the vehicles look like? What fancy creature? Awesome. Okay. Headphones on. There we go.
You're good.
Sweet.
Is everyone back?
Everyone except James.
James.
Nah, he's out.
Let the shadows speak to you, James. They call to you.
He's having a he's daydreaming right now. Oh man.
I need some stealth rolls for whoever's sneaking in here.
Hell yeah.
And you get to, my friend,
No.
contend with chat.
I rolled an 8. That's not a good roll. That's with a +6. That's not good.
There are actually bigger doorways in and out of this room from the outside. That small doorway next to the jail cells is just one way. That does seem to be the way people are coming in and out. They're not using these huge doorways in the front of the building. But which way are you going to try to go to get in there?
I'll just go the closest one. I don't want to be too far out of the way when I'm caught. I'm gonna like peek past it. Do 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 do.
So you're peeking in through one of the front doors then?
Yep.
You get caught on a little bit of sand, and you put a little more weight into it to push the door open just a bit so you can get a peek. And there's this huge screech noise as the door just... Jericho glances over at you, and you see a room with a few things in it.
What do my tiefling eyes see?
Your tiefling ranger eyes. We're back on.
She stole my
James, you have
eyes.
okay, good. Your tiefling eyes peeking into this warehouse. First, see a bunch of Ardians staring up at you, and then going back down to their work. There are trees in here, been chopped down. People are working on them. They're being carved. They are pulling fronds, big palm leaves off the top, making more bedrolls and making more things. This smell is emanating from almost glowing boxes in the back of the room. And I don't know, was that enough time for a viewer decision? So I can tell what
It's
else she sees?
currently we're polling at the moment.
Okay. Jericho wheels around. Don't tell me, Sienna, you said you were leaving.
I am. I was just curious what was in here.
Curiosity is the best tool for a mind of the scholar, and it's also what killed the owlbear. Come here.
Knowledge is power, you know? And I'll go in. I'm not that worried right now.
She seems to be invited in, kind of.
Interesting.
Sure,
Also, friend Adris Fury donates £10. Table of pets for more sand. Thank you, my friend. I've had varying results on the table of pets, ranging from cute little fluffy things to strange growths on my body. So I'll probably do 100.
Dude, I saw the one you got last week on the Call of Cthulhu, and that was nuts.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, this is so cute. I get a very, very, very tiny mountain giant as a pet. Like a handheld one. Oh my god.
I like the idea that it just rolls at your feet while we're walking through the desert and just adopts you.
At first I thought it was just There's a bit of something just rolling along my foot, and then I realized it's a tiny, tiny, tiny mountain drum. Sick. Thank you, Trist.
You guys are all going in here then, I'm assuming.
I'm gonna head in after Sienna.
Okay. There's a little man you accidentally bump into because you could barely, specifically Morrison, you're not looking down at your feet. You're taking in what this room has to offer. This kind of workshop of sorts. When you bump into someone, doesn't even quite come up to your knee. He has the same robes on as everyone else, and he is carrying little leaves in his hands, and they're kind of knocked aside when you bump into him. You feel something at your foot, and you look down. He's just kind of glaring up at you.
Excuse me. I was walking here.
He squints his eyes, but not even in an angry way, in an inquisitive, concerned kind of way. And as you guys walk deeper into this place to join Jericho, whatever track this guy was walking on, carrying his leaves, he leaves them where they are, and he stays about 5-6 feet behind you, in tow. Still with the same expression burned onto his face. He doesn't quite look like a human. His brow juts out a bit more. His eyes are tiny. His jaw is very big and might even have a little stubble on it.
Sienna, is that you? What happened to you? Have you been turned into a tiny little... What has Jericho done to you?
Oh my god, she's cursed her. Wait, no.
Oh,
It doesn't look like Sienna.
no, that looks like manly Sienna. Miana.
Very manly Sienna. Very, very manly, tinily Sienna.
Yeah.
Sonny, you're about 3 feet away. You hear all this
Yeah.
easily.
Mawson, I'm right here.
Oh my god, it talks.
Oh my,
Oh wait.
oh my god.
Oh.
Booper like runs over and just like bashes you in the head, and then hops back off your shoulder and runs back.
Boops me. Oh,
Yup.
sorry, Sienna. I thought this was different person. Okay.
Yes, Miana. Mm-hmm.
Me. Oh yeah. Oh wait, yeah. No, that doesn't make much more sense anymore because he's not you. Okay. Hello, little man.
Silence and following. Eventually, Jericho starts talking, despite you guys being close to him or not. Yes, I suppose you have stumbled upon a bit of a workshop. I find it clears the mind to work with one's hands sometimes. And
Right.
walking past tables, you guys are seeing little cogs and gears made out of wood, carved, presumably just with knives, daggers, and there's big mounds, 30, 40 feet long, and they are covered in the same kind of tarps that cover the entire compound. I bet you are just dying to see what's under one of these.
You could just
I
tell us.
guess.
I'm okay with being told.
Yeah, you could just, yeah, tell us.
But where's the fun in that? I'm busy polling chat right now.
I've got the. Oh, I have the answer to you in Zoom. But yes, I want to see.
I can't help but wonder what Jericho and his family are doing out here in the desert right now, and what is under these clouds.
Chat, why do I ever trust you guys? I should know better than that, but okay. He grabs one by the corner with a devilish grin up at you guys, and he starts lifting it. You guys are privy to, carved out of wood, a giant arched claw right in your face. It is as tall as any of you. And he yanks the other side, and he keeps trying to push it back a bit. And you see a hand. It's covered in ropes made out of just the plants and reeds around here. You see pulleys levers, cogs, all kinds of things. It reveals a huge arm that ends in a clawed hand. 30 feet long. He finishes taking this off, and you guys are looking at a mechanical, kind of constructed version of a giant two-toed sloth. There's little legs in the back, long arms in the front. There's satchels on the side that hold arrows, whips, that kind of thing. There's a spear, and on its back, close to its head, there is a little bit of a carved out dome. And on the inside, there's levers for these pulleys. He wheels around on his heels without explaining anything, just letting you take it in. Well, what do you think?
It's remarkable.
Oh.
Good luck. It looks like a sloth.
It is a sloth. And it can move like one, too.
Oh, that doesn't sound very useful at all because you'd be moving super slow.
I racked my brain. I opened it up to the secrets of the universe, and I told the universe to help me come up with an idea. The most fearsome, ferocious animal, the thing that can kill foes, siege cities, and the answer was given unto me, a sloth.
I mean-
very patient man.
Yeah. Holy smokes. The answer to the are you sure you got the right number when you called?
Most certainly. I use Skype, and we know Skype is very good, and I would never call the wrong place.
Oh, of course.
And mental Skype told me to build a sloth.
Well, it's very pretty. I don't know. Well, what are you going to use it for?
That's what I was about to ask.
Okay. I can't blame the universe. It was my idea. The sloth can stay low on the ground. He can swim through the sand without making a big ruckus. He blends in. Note the color of the wood. As for his purpose here, every man needs a hobby.
Can Booper go and pull one of the levers?
Yes, there are 3. There's the first one, the second one, and the third one. Which lever do you pull?
Second one.
Oh, good. Wow. You pull. He pulls the second lever, and Jericho tenses up and spins around. He didn't notice the little hand going up there. And this thing seems to redistribute its weight. It puts its weight on its big arms, on its hands, and it lifts just a couple inches up off of the ground. Oh, you know how to pilot sloths.
Booper's very knowledgeable in such things, apparently. Booper, get down.
I am unaware of the etymology of that name, Booper. He is one who boops?
It is known.
I see. Friends, when I said there was locomotion here, I did not mean these. We have a terribly exotic creature called a camel, and he would be happy to take you wherever you wanted to go.
Just reimagining that scene from Helm's Deep, where it's like, ride out with me and meet them. Just fucking go on the slopes.
Pan over to the horizon. No sign of movement for 30 seconds, 45 seconds. Then a little arm just...
At dawn, look to the east. It's like 10 days later they show up.
It's at dawn, it's just in 10 days.
Okay. Well, if which are faster, sloths or camels?
These sloths are my children. I can bear no camels. I cannot give them to you, but you can use my camels as long as you send them back.
Right, then yes. Please.
All right.
Camels are a better choice.
We'll just get on a camel, and then we'll ride to wherever the wind takes us.
Citadel.
Citadel. Exactly.
What is the direction of that exactly from here?
Yes. Do we have a map or anything?
I'm currently working on one.
Could we see it?
No. Unless, what kind of magic users are you? Can you appear into the ether and see my mind's eye? Because if so, I must warn you of what you'll find.
Don't think I want to do that. No.
Sounds messy.
I mean, Qual might be able to, but he's into that.
I used
I'm
to,
very
but,
into that.
but for some reason I can't anymore.
Yeah, I'm gonna look
Then-
at 4.
I shall transcribe it to papyrus for you, if you do not mind.
Ah,
Could you use a
the
better
great
font than
papyrus.
I'm
You're
trying
like,
to
"Look,
build,
nice, like,
What's wrong with
Garamond
papyrus?
I'm trying to build a printing press with bark and sand. Okay, it takes a long time to install a new font.
It's
I have to
really
do it
fun.
manually.
It's really
Oh
fun.
my
These guys. The quick brown box. All right, fine. Just whatever Qual. If as long as Qual can read it.
Papyrus will do fine. It's just a little,
What size of font are we talking?
I have papyrus and Comic Sans, and that is it, and you shall make a decision, and you will like it.
Papyrus looks a little bit better than Comic Sans.
Eh.
Yeah, Comic Sans is not really the way to go.
All right, we'll take Comic Sans.
He ushers you guys out, and you, if you will follow him, are brought to the front gate of this little place. It's not so much of a gate, but a little ramp that heads up past the tarp and into the desert. And there is, in fact, a little fenced-off area with a few horses, suspiciously still clad with saddles with the Imperial Collective sigil stamped right on them. There's some camels, and I'm sure there's some other weird flabby fantasy creatures there as well. Well, there you go.
Good.
Take 2 or 3 camels. You can go to Citadel. You'll
All
be
right,
fine.
Charlotte, jump up.
I jump, but it's more like a
Yeah, I give him a boost. I give him a booster.
Oh, great. Don't forget Aloysius.
Can't he walk?
Would you have your pets walk in the hot sand on...
Well, if I have a little man still following me around, then yes.
It's funny, right? When you mention that, you notice he is directly behind you. Again, just staring up at your face, squinting.
Can I help you?
That is my silent friend, Spud. Spud, what is it you need? And his
Spud
vision,
McKenzie.
his vision does not falter. He still just keeps staring at you. Jericho takes a double take. I think Spud sees something in you, friend.
Okay. Is he going to follow me around like this then?
If you will have him.
Or what does he do?
He is a gentleman and a scholar.
Works for me. Alright, fine, you can stay around, I guess, and as long as he follows and subscribes. Yeah,
As all true gentlemen and scholars would.
yeah. I pop him wherever he wants to go, maybe like a camel pouch.
Like a little saddle pack.
Camel pouch, saddle bags. I'll pop him on one of those, and let him ride it out up with Owlicious, and
One on each side.
yeah, go on, my pretties.
After those two are put in saddlebags, Jericho positions himself between you and the camels with his arms outstretched. What are you doing?
Riding them.
Or,
You
yeah,
can't take my camels.
you just said we could.
Not right now. You are free to leave. You can go die all you want to. There's a storm brewing. And my camels must stay here until after the storm has passed.
When does the storm come?
You guys are so close to the gate, he will actually walk up. You guys can poke heads up into the desert. You thought it was as hot as it could get down here, but you are quickly proven wrong. The sun almost shining like a mirror off of the sand intensifies the heat. It's dry, you're instantly feeling parched. And
We wouldn't want to leave without water anyway.
pointing to the horizon, there does seem not so much black clouds in the sky, but a general darkness rising up from the edge of the horizon. You are free to go. Please leave. Like I said, go endure the razor sandstorms yourself. But my camels must stay here, for I like them alive.
How long does it take for these razor sandstorms to pass?
I am sure, conveniently, you would be fine to leave in the morning.
Fine. I guess we can stay here another night. Conveniently.
He walks past you like he was expecting you to say that, and he claps his hands around his mouth and screams out to everyone, "Family, we have guests tonight. When's the last time we threw a party?" And there is more emotion than you've seen out of all of these people. There's whooping and cheering from across the compound, echoing under here. Forget the ship. Drop that stuff. We don't need it. Don't drop that crystal. You'll kill us all. Drums. We need drums and food. Yes, lots of food. Break out the kegs, ladies and gentlemen. We must show our new friends and guests a good time.
Oh boy. A party.
So much fun.
I wasn't worried before. Now I'm worried.
Maybe there'll be more of this alcohol there.
None for you. You have to be this tall.
And then Shallot creates mirror images and like stacks each, like one on top of the other and meets Morson's hand height.
There we go.
Fine. I guess we can take a break. But keep an eye out. Don't trust this guy at all.
Oh, I don't plan to.
Big vats start being wheeled out, as well as big copper drums with animal skins stretched tight over the tops. And I'm talking drums 4 or 5 feet in diameter. They are wheeled out into the clearer, less sandy area in the middle. Some of the tree branches and some of the parts of the ship are being thrown down to form some kind of big bonfire. People already have their flasks out and are licking their lips and looking excitedly. One dude is completely overreacting. He's misplaced his gilded flask, and he's standing over by the entrance to the jail/workshop, patting his robe, and he just starts screaming at the top of his lungs. Everyone else just kind of tends to ignore him, and he's just rabidly, Where is it? What the hell? No! And he starts ripping off his clothes and like throwing them on the ground and patting himself and going through his robes. Everyone else seems to be eagerly awaiting the party, though, and they are all getting ready.
All right. Well, shall we get ready for this shindig?
Perhaps remember how our last meal ended before you get too enamored with the food and drink around here.
You're right. That's why we'll pregame. I
You
have
guys
the onions.
Hear a familiar mousy voice peep up. Karima behind you. Pre-game?
You're not invited.
Nope, not at all. You poisoned us.
You killed the captain.
I didn't poison you. She poisoned you.
Yeah, but
And
you
she
killed the
points over
captain.
to a building. She doesn't point to anyone in particular. Just she poisoned you. I didn't poison you.
Uh-huh. Well, how about this? You'll be the official party taste tester.
She grins from ear to ear and hops up and down. Just yeah.
Good. Because if you die, no one will ever care.
She
God,
kind of
that's
deflates
so
again
dark,
after that.
don't
Just,
you
Brilliant. Yeah, he gets this way when he drinks. It gets really dark.
he holds his drink and it looks like it doesn't look like a sip has been taken.
What do you mean? I get like this when I drink.
Shut up.
People are eagerly awaiting, and the sun eventually goes down, making the night frigid. The humidity in here and the warmth collected throughout the day kind of permeates this area, but you guys are surprised, or maybe not, if most of you actually do know the desert. It gets deathly cold at night. In fact, this giant bonfire isn't just for complete aesthetic. It seems to actually have a purpose. Everyone's gathering around to stay warm.
Now that it's darker, can I take out the little wineskin thing that I swiped earlier? And I want to sniff the Kool-Aid.
It smells familiar. It smells exactly like the soup that Syndra made for all you guys earlier, that stew.
I'm
Maybe
gonna
with a little less
cook
vegetable
that.
meat in it.
Cork that back up and put that away.
A keg 6-7 feet tall on a stand another 3 or 4 feet has been placed in front of the bonfire. Jericho has had a little chair fashioned for him that sits just behind it, a little bit off the ground, almost like a lifeguard's little tower stand they sit in. And he's made a little ring of flowers around his head. He walks over with a big mallet, breaks the spigot off of the keg, and all the Ardians instantly go clamoring. The flasks and wineskins uncorked, just sticking their hands out for the flow of this liquid coming out. He chuckles to himself and goes back to his big chair, and drums start pounding. It's more of about the incessant nature of the drums. It's not a fast beat, it doesn't change. It's more of a repetitive pounding that never stops and gets bored into your head. Just a boom, 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 boom.
Shallot goes up to the beer keg and he does the 90s style. It's really hot, gotta put our heads underneath the icy machine kind of deal and fill our mouth up with icy. So he goes underneath the keg spigot and he just kind of like opens it up and he's like, I don't drink alcohol, and he like just like lets the keg pour into his mouth as he just consumes.
Roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Alrighty.
It does not taste like the beer you know back home. In fact, it's not bubbly. It doesn't taste like hops or alcohol or grain. It's very floral in taste. You're tasting notes of hemlock, nightshade, etc.
Shallot does a spit take.
Okay, this is poison again. This is poison.
You
And he looks
feel-
over at Jericho.
What is this guy's deal? What is
You
it? What is
guys-
his major malfunction?
You feel a sharp twinge in your chest and your muscles kind of start seizing up, and you're expecting to fall over any moment, and you don't. You look down at your hands, and despite having a huge trail behind them, they're still able to move. You can still control them.
I immediately bring like a finger into my mouth and cause me to barf up what liquid I did drink to at least kind of slow down the poison spread.
You guys
I
see
just
how
empty
much
my stomach.
of a lightweight Shallot is. He takes one drink from the keg, staggers off, and vomits. Friends, please do not hesitate. My bounty is for all to revel in.
Starting to think you might have a bounty on your head. You keep poisoning everyone. There's poison in there.
Everyone's chugging it down, and they seem to be getting a little more rambunctious and noisy, but no one's falling over. In fact, even Shallot's still on his feet vomiting over there. I resent that, sir. This is a brew entirely of my own creation.
Shallot like looks over and he wipes some vomit out of his beard.
You make beer with hemlock?
Who said beer? I never said beer.
Well, that's what you put in. What is that?
You make hemlock out of beer.
You make hemlock out of beer?
Come on, man.
No, it is not to toot my own horn, but a rather ingenious concoction. Yes, you have quite the tongue, sir. Hats off, and he takes his little flowered ringlet off his head. Hats off to your sophisticated palate. You're also tasting nightshade, curare flower extract, and opium.
I'm all right with the opium, but what the heck's a curare flower?
I'm no expert, but this sounds pretty lethal.
You guys can barely hear the winds whipping overhead. The storm has hit, but you guys are relatively safe down here. The tarp starts flapping, almost in tune with the drums. And looking up Shallot, you can see the little grains of sand floating overhead over the tarp. Each wind blowing each individual little group of sand has its own color to it. There's reds and purples and blues flying overhead. In fact, some of the Ardians have already laid down in the sand and are just staring up at the sky. The rest of you guys don't see anything.
I stumble over to Morrison and I tug on him.
I am on the worst trip ever.
Oh dear. Oh, this is very bad. Well, maybe you try throwing it up.
I did. You know what? I didn't try that. Let me try it again.
He's like sticks his finger into his mouth and just like bile comes up because his stomach is empty.
Oh, wait.
Bile and dry heaving. Friends, it would be rude to deny your gracious host even a taste of his cooking.
Cooking or cocaine?
Did I say I like you? Because I like you.
Yes, it was mentioned at one point.
I do, and the flow has kind of ebbed now. There's a little dripping from this keg, and some people bring forth another one. This one keeps its spigot in it. This is placed on the other side of the fire. And people are just as aggressively clamoring around this one. If you are a lightweight, then I would highly suggest small little amounts.
Wait, hemlock, nightshade, opium, and curare flower. Okay, well, I don't care about how many amounts. You got two of those ingredients that are deadly.
Yes, and the curare being the weapon and poison of choice amongst Ardians.
Oh, okay. Well, great.
Right, so three are deadly.
Yeah, 3 are deadly, and then 1 just makes you feel good about it.
One prevents you from dying, so you can introduce the others to your system at your own pace.
I've heard of something like this before. Ingesting a poison to gain resistance to its effects.
He doesn't say anything, but with his eyes and the smile and the quick wink he shoots you, he is telepathically trying to communicate a big light bulb above your head.
Fine, I'll give it a try. And I walk over, and I take a very, 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 very small amount, and I down it.
You can roll me a Constitution saving throw.
I'm gonna do the same.
It's on, buddy. It's on. That's a 21 for you.
There is a sharp pain in your chest. We're going to start with Qual. There's a sharp pain in your chest, and you kind of wince. Your breathing is hard, but you look down. Your hands are ghost trailing. The flowers around your neck and your hat are singing with the rhythm of the drums. With each pounding, the colors change. Overhead on the flowers on you, all the flowers in this cereal bowl of an arboreum around you. They're all singing, telling stories into the night, and you can watch them. Morrison, your hands cramp up just like last time. Your heart feels like it slows down, and you're even brought to one knee. And the last things you remember are snippets, little snapshots of the night.
Boy, that really burns as it goes down, huh?
Morrison, there's snapshots. At one point, you're in one of the sloths pulling levers. At one point, you have replaced Jericho in the giant throne chair. At another point, you are laying face down in the sand next to the fire.
I was in one of those sloths, fucking hell. That's bad. I'm inside a sloth. Whoa.
As the party members kind of turn and slowly, hesitantly go over and try some of this concoction. Sonny, you're the last one who hasn't tried any yet. Jericho is sitting in his little chair as they all go over. And as the eyes turn from him, as everyone kind of cheers, join us. It's good stuff. The smile goes from his face, and Jericho kind of leans back, looking almost defeated, and just kind of rests his cheek on his hand. The look of someone not reveling in a party, but almost looks solemn.
Why are you doing this, Jericho?
A resplendent
Can you
offering.
make me a spot check really quick, please?
A what?
Perception, rather, yes.
Yes, I sure can.
God damn it. Crimson Phoenix dice 20 pounds.
Ooh.
Oh, dragon made of stone and fire, along with a knight wielding a great sword. Oh boy, I'll forward some details to you straight up. God damn it, Brian! Every fucking time. This way made a command. Exclamation point, Brian.
So there was a stone dragon, you said.
Dragon of
I
stone
will
and
forward you
fire.
the-
Dragon of stone
Oh yeah, I
and
might have
fire.
clipped out there a little bit.
And a great knight wielding a sword or something.
In a great knight wielding a sword or something.
I have forwarded you some details there on Zoom's right. Yes, stone dragon, stone and fire dragon, knight of a great sword. God damn it, Brian. Those are my 3 points, really.
Underlined exclamation points.
Yeah.
Strange, I guess we need more action. You guys can't wait till episode 3. What was your perception check? I will get to the dragon in
15.
just a moment.
Yeah, 15.
The rest of the people are kind of staring at their hands, their ghost trailing a bit. People are pointing up at the tarp up top and gesticulating and saying, "Look at that," to things you're not even seeing. But you can make one observation. At first, you think it might just be the way the fire is flickering, casting lights and shadows, but that's not it. There's a small circle around Jericho where there's no shadow at all. Not from the chair, not his own, nothing. The shadows move over towards him, almost trying to encroach upon him, and dance around him in the flickering firelight.
I'm going to raise the water skin as if I'm going to take a drink of it, and as I mime taking a sip, I want to step backwards into shadow so that he can't tell that I'm not drinking, because I'm the designated camel driver around here, and this is a bad plan. Do you want?
And what was it that you said to him just a moment ago?
I said, "Why are you doing this, Jericho?" I think something to that effect.
These Audians, they've had this in their system quite a while. I'd say they are completely immune to the negative side effects of this drink. At least most of them. You, however, are foreigners. I believe it's probably important.
And the shadows, Jericho.
What's that?
And the shadows, Jericho.
He glances down. Not much gets by you, does it, Sonny?
I try and keep my eyes open. Someone told me that was a good decision around here.
He smiles a little bit, but not the same big, malevolent smile as earlier. He'll stand up and kind of stretch. And he hops down next to you. He pulls a little tiny water skin out of his pouch, or his robes. He cracks the top and sniffs at it and makes a disgusted looking face. Just, here, trade these. This one's my personal stash. This one's made for me. And he offers it to you, with the other hand open, still holding the cork of this water skin, but wanting yours.
I'll take it. I'll do something.
You don't need to drink, but he does pull you in, so you have interlocking arms. And when we are sad, we drink to forget. Correct?
That's
And he
one
takes
good solution.
a small sip of his, of yours.
Okay.
And eyes open looking over at you, kind of expecting you to do the same.
When I lean in to sip, what do I smell? Does it still smell like hemlocky and poison?
It's the exact same thing, yeah.
Yeah.
It actually really is not that aromatic. It would be very easy to miss, even if you guys were given poison stew again. You might be able to miss it.
Yeah, just like that big herbal.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Okay. I will raise it to my lips, but I still don't want to drink it.
Okay.
But she'll do a really good impression of drinking it because she knows how close he is right now.
He unlocks his arm from you. You keep his pouch. He takes yours. He pushes the little cork back in and looks at the chair and then just flops back on his back and looks up at the sky.
I'm gonna stumble over towards Mawson and Quall, where they've kind of collapsed, and just kind of sit down on the sand and look up at the sky. Hopefully near the bonfire, because it's cold.
There's lots of reds and oranges in the sand overhead. In fact, Sonny, you even see some. Then, obviously, it's coming from a point. It's light, but you guys certainly haven't been out this long. the sun. There's no way the sun's coming up yet. That is when the screams erupt. The light makes contact with the tarp. Fire spreads out. Different little patches here and there catch on fire. But this thing, though it can withstand the razor sands, cannot withstand this blaze. And the tarp above you guys is quickly ripped up and is flying into the night. Sand is mostly blowing overhead, but little bits fly down here and they cut your cloth that you're wearing like razors. There is this creature. It looks to be made of stone, but is flapping, staying aloft somehow in the air. And everyone can have initiative rolls now.
Oh dear.
Oh my goodness.
Oh boy.
As I wake up. Ugh.
Hey, 19.
Booyah, 18.
Hey, 18.
Sunny clearly should have drunk the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Some of the pounding stops. Some of the drum players nervously look up there. Some of the other Ardians seem to think that this is not actually happening. They continue doing their things they're doing, talking, having a good time, playing their instruments, despite this thing obviously being right in front of them. Some people are just along for the ride. And with an initiative count of 25, these things are going to go first.
Holy shit.
You guys can make some observations as this thing comes in to land in front of you. This thing is real. It's organic. It's moving. Its flesh looking like stone. Perhaps some kind of magic spell to protect it from the razor sands. And in fact, its rider has the same kind of strange undulating rock look about him. He hops down off of this thing's back and takes from his side a scimitar of great size. It is a two-handed weapon as tall as him. And who am I going to fillet, I suppose?
I look particularly unaggressive. Not dangerous.
Shallot, what's your AC?
My AC is 11.
A 23 is a hit, friend.
Mm-hmm.
Rip. Let's double your AC and a little bit more.
You're going to take 9 damage as the storm, the colors are flooding in here now. It's making everything incredibly hard to understand what's going around you. Your mind feels a little foggy. In fact, you guys feel like you're in a dream state. When you fall asleep and when you wake up, it's obvious. When you awaken from a dream, oh, I was just dreaming, I'm back in the real world now. This is much softer than that. You went to the same destination. You felt like you were walking around dreaming, but it wasn't so abrupt. It took a couple hours. You kind of slid into this dreamlike state. But you feel your senses return a little bit as the ground shakes. You step back and the tip of this sword brushes across your chest. You feel blood. The warmth on your chest underneath your clothes. And the biting pain, though it's numbed, kind of snaps you to reality again. There's still colors about. But we will move to Qual, as it seems a very, very advanced hallucination is making your friends and party members bleed.
Yikes. The first thing I'm going to do is I am going to cast Mage Armor upon myself. I'm going to take one look at these things. I'm going to go, oh, Holy shit. And I'm gonna try and protect myself as best as I possibly can. And if I can still do something after that, I'm gonna glance over these creatures made entirely out of stone, winged things that are being ridden by other creatures of stone. And I'd like to sort of reach my, I don't know, my cosmic consciousness out to the shadows that I speak to so frequently. I'm going to make an Arcana check. I'm going to see if the spirits that speak to me have any idea what these creatures are. Will a 12 for Arcana do anything?
You can hear the whispers more clearly than even normal of the shadows, but their words are cryptic. There's little whispers in your ears from the darkness around you. Beware the snakes. Beware the snakes. These are obviously not snakes. But that is what you're getting with a 12.
Okay. Very good. I'm gonna... How far away am I from some of my friends?
You are all pretty much gathered together. Sunny had joined you at the fireside.
Okay,
Your
I'm gonna stay
friends-
close to. I'm gonna stay close to Morrison.
Okay. I believe it is between Morrison and Shallot. I'm going to let Morrison go first, because though you rolled the same, he has a slightly higher initiative bonus.
Yeah, that's fine.
Will,
Alrighty.
there are
That is my
pretty colors, and big moving fiery things.
Pretty colors. I'm gonna speak of animals. No. Can I shoot the pretty colors? Can the colors be shot? In my mind.
Yes, your mind can shoot the colors, and your bow can shoot the creatures.
Good. I shoot laser bolts from my mind, which coalesce into arrows from my bow on a 10.
You're trying to line up, and they kind of move and shift with your vision. It feels like the ground's moving under your feet. You're getting battered in the face with little bits of glass, it feels. And your arrow is lost into the ether of colors around you. It doesn't seem to
I can't get into my mind palace right now. Damn it!
You have a movement action left, sir.
Then, if I'm in immediate danger, I'll run to somewhere with cover. But if not, then I'll probably stay where I am in the cosmos. Man,
There's turned over drums. There's the big keg. You can easily throw yourself behind one of these makeshift wooden inventions of Jericho's to give yourself a little bit of cover.
okay, let's do that then. Let's get
And
behind one of these sloths.
Shallot, it is then your turn.
A kind.
This creature's just a knight with stone skin, right?
It seems so, this knight and this dragon.
All
They
right.
still move, they still ripple, they look organic. There's just this fine layer of a stone-like texture to their skin, and they don't seem to be bothered by the razor sands at all.
After Shallot gets hit by this scimitar, he looks over at the knight. Ow! This is my blood. That's not very nice, he says as he casts Phantasmal Force on the knight.
Tremendous.
Also, a pet for Qual from Charis DK. Thank you, my friend. He gets a pet
Pet
now as
for me.
well. Yeah.
He will. Oh no!
I'll have to give
Good.
up custody of Aloysius.
You can share custody. It's not one or the other.
You can spend weekends.
Alternating weekends, yeah.
With the alimony.
You gotta switch back and forth on holidays. That is a will save that this...
I'm also using a Lord Ice of Insidious spell to reduce its will by 2.
Okay, is 17 good enough?
Yeah, it is.
This thing steps back and kind of furrows and shakes his head a little bit. But you can't quite tell with the stone-like surface of the skin, but there's movement that can be seen underneath the stone. Not actual physical things, like tattoos on him. And they kind of start snaking back and forth and moving on his flesh. And he just snaps out of it. And you can see the cognizance in his eyes. Something has snapped him out of this trance, and your phantasmal force is not going to work on him.
Well then.
Well, fine.
Fine. If that's how everything's going to be, let's see. I will move back, I guess. I'll just kind of step back.
Your friend Morrison dives behind cover, and you can go with him.
Okay.
Hiding behind the big empty keg now. And I believe that will bring us to whoever was next in the initiative roll, which was
Sunny.
Sienna.
Me. I want to take the whip from my side and I want to use it, and I'm gonna try, if it hits, and take the sword out of his hand, the scimitar out of his hand, using my Tomb Raider feature, my weapon specialist.
Oh yes, I believe he needs to make a reflex save.
It doesn't hit. It's fine.
First, you need to be able to hit him though.
Yeah. It was a 9, that won't hit. I imagine.
No, it does not. The 9 is not good enough to hit. You're whipping, and you have your wits about you. You can tell this is real. This isn't some kind of hallucination. And he is adept. This guy has had fighting training. It's not on your end that you miss him. It is his quick movements, his observation of the battlefield, looking up, moving out of the way as you try to whip him.
All right, and then, okay, I'll just use my movement then to put myself between him and Charlotte until Charlotte comes up with a better plan. I'm like, Charlotte, come up with a better plan! And that'll be my go.
Okay.
I cast Power Word Kill at the 9th level.
Yeah, that's a reaction. You can do that when it's not even your turn.
Yeah.
Definitely. What is 56 on the pet table? Please tell me.
I will tell you right now. Let's see. 56 is a sentient flying weapon.
Ooh.
Ooh.
This is
Happy
great.
to have that pet. My new sword boy.
This is great timing.
You're just like, I don't want to give up Aloysius flying sword. Fuck Aloysius. I got a fucking flying sword, dude. Bye.
He likes his stepkids better.
Okay, I'm going to revise the last scene a little bit, if you don't mind. The whip lashes out. This guy protecting his face with the flat side of this huge curved piece of steel. For a minute, you think your disarm might have worked. It pops right out of the guy's hands. But it doesn't fall to the ground. It stays there for a moment, and he kind of staggers back, confused expression carved into the stone on his face. When the sword flies, not blade, but handle first, over at Qual.
Ah! I reach out a hand instinctively.
Much like a Jedi, your weapon hits your hand with such force, your fingers just kind of clasp down on it. This thing is light as a feather, and truly a deadly weapon. And this guy looks as confused about this happening as you do.
Am I still high?
Did you just summon that sword?
That was cool.
Apparently so.
You should get a whip like that.
All right, sword. What can you do? Can you kill those flying things?
Do all pets talk? Do I need to come up with a voice for a sword? Because I didn't think you guys were going to be fighting a stone knight anyway, much less a
It is a sentient flying sword.
his sentient sword flies.
Oh yeah, I can talk. Don't worry.
Oh boy.
No one else hears anything. No one hears anything. It might be the drums that are still pounding. This ruckus around you, this fighting. But as it pops into your hand, much like the shadows whispering into your ears, you hear, "Hello, governor."
Oh boy, I don't want this sword anymore. No. You can talk.
I see the sword from Power Rangers that the White Ranger had in Mighty Morphin, where the hilt, or like not the hilt, the pommel at the very end of the handle is like a tiger's head, and it's just opening and talking.
Okay.
Well, I can recognize quite easily another person who appreciates the shadows and the darkness and the secrets of the universe and that kind of stuff.
I shouted to everyone else, "It's a talking shadow sword!" And I say,
Glad it went to the Shadow Mage.
He is obviously hallucinating, you guys.
I'm
all
probably
right.
hallucinating it too. Yeah.
And I
All right.
believe that brings us to this dragon's turn. Its maw opens. There's this viscous green fluid dripping from its chin, and as it hits the sand, there's sizzling. There's almost a puddle after just a few seconds, and this thing's head rears back, its lungs take in air, and everyone that's not in cover, which I believe is Sienna and Qual, can roll me dexterity saving throws.
All right, here it comes. Bam. 17.
And mine's +3 because of Tomb Robber. I just can't set it on the sheet right now. So 17 as well.
17 for both of you is enough. Instead of 2d6, or 2d12 rather, 1, you take 3 damage each.
Ow.
As you are able to see this surge, much like waves at the beach, kind of come forth from this thing's mouth. And you guys, respectively, move behind cover, jump out of the way, back up, whatever you need to do to get away from this thing. This
Can
guy...
Oh, sorry. Can I use my Hellish Rebuke reaction, please?
Yeah, that's something you can do.
Yeah, I just remembered.
I don't think he gets a save on that. Don't you just roll damage?
I think he does get a save. I think it's a con save.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just looked up the spell real quick.
Wow.
Yeah, I was looking
give
at
her
that
one of my
damage.
lore dice.
It's dexterity save
For half or for none?
for half on a success.
He is still going to take the half damage, which is still a pretty good 14. How does your hellish rebuke work? What's it look like? Do you damn his name? Do you point a finger at him?
Yeah, I imagine there's just a lot of swearing and infernal, like the darkest way as possible. Like, she's cowering and like the flames just like push out and back from her. Something along of, you motherfucking toadstool, go back to hell.
He throws himself to the ground, cannot escape the brunt of the attack, and works his way to his feet again, but takes 14 damage. And now it is his turn. He looks... All this has been pretty hectic. He stands up. The stone quality about his skin even seems to waver for a moment. It looks like the tanned bronze you guys have come to expect of Ardians. And he looks at his hands, and he looks at the sword, that's left him. And he is confused and frustrated. And Qual, you can roll me a wisdom saving throw, please.
Here it comes. It's one of my worst saves. A 3. A 3 for you.
He sticks his hands out, almost, you're not sure, willing the sword back. Doesn't move. It's found its new home. When the pretty colors disappear, on the periphery of your vision, you see darkness, the shadows, black. But it swells, and it doesn't stop. And from the outside of your eyes, vision starts disappearing. You can't see the drums, you can't see Jericho. You can't even see the dragon. You're locked onto this guy's face, and he kind of grins as he too fades into blackness, and you see darkness. You have been effectively blinded temporarily until you can make a wisdom saving throw.
I'm freaking out right now.
Will take us... Dude, you're in your element, man.
Yeah.
That'll take us back to the top of the round, which is
Who's having a
actually
worse
Qual's
trip?
turn.
Okay. I'm going to just close my eyes, make it easier on myself, not try and grope around in the dark. I'm going to mentally speak to this sword I've just received. How good are you at fighting on your own?
Fighting then, well, on a scale of 1 to 10, 6 being the highest, I'd say I'm about a 4.
On a scale of 1 to 10, with 6 being the highest, what's above 6? Between 6 and 10.
Well, 6 would be better than a 7, obviously. Quick maths.
It's not a very smart sword, I think to myself. Okay, I'm going to name you Sharpie Sword. Now, go ahead and, if you can see, get that guy. And I point in a random direction. Generally where I thought its original owner was last.
Right, I'll get right on that then. And you feel him rip out of your hands. You hear yelling in the night, Jericho's voice just, "Ah, son of a bitch! What are you doing? Stop it! Stop it!"
I'm gonna think to him, that wasn't the right target, but good work anyway. That was an acceptable secondary target.
Great.
That only took a moment, this quick back and forth. In fact, you would still say you have actions left, if we were
Okay.
to use that kind of language.
Can I make a perception check? Maybe sort of listen in all of this chaos and try and determine where one of my enemies are?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, here comes perception. 14.
It's really hard. You don't
Okay.
hear running. You're pretty sure they're about where they were just moments before you lost your vision. You have a general idea of where the big target of the dragon is, and then this little, now swordless.
Okay, if I have a general idea where the big target of the dragon is, I'm going to shoot a spell blind at where I think it is. So I think that's an attack with disadvantage.
This thing is so huge, I will waive the disadvantage, and it has not
Okay.
moved. You can hear the sizzling. There's a breath, an oomph that comes out when it's spewing forth this acid. There's a bit of a and you know where it is.
Cool. So I cast Chaos Bolt towards it. Roll of 8. I
Is
doubt
that your
that's gonna hit.
ranged spell attack? Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a pretty good idea of where it's at, and you grab onto your chaos and throw some chaos at him. There is not the satisfying squelch of chaos, however. And I will still give you a movement, though you're not quite sure where you are.
I'm
Or at
gonna
least
hunker
you know
down
where
and
you
stay where
are.
I am. Yeah, I'm gonna stay where I am.
Good idea. Will, it is Morson's turn.
So it is. So it is. Colors everywhere.
There's colors everywhere. There's a flying Grobicus sword. There is a dude just not paying any attention to you, and you're being vomited on with acidic tummy juices while tripping balls.
That's this is your standard Wednesday night out here. Okay.
This is your standard second episode of a campaign.
Yeah. Classic episode 2 material. Playing up to all of the tropes here, straight. Yeah, I'm gonna. I'll try and shoot it again, I guess. I mean, like, I got range is my only friend here, to be honest. So let's do that. Let's do do 16 this time around.
And what a friend it is. 16 is barely enough, depending which one are you shooting at.
I want to shoot the dragon. Is that the right answer?
Roll me your damage. Sir. You have chosen wisely.
Minimum damage again. I can't fuck it. Once I do hit things, it's just super weak sauce. Gotta do more fucking shake weights.
This thing should pierce this dragon's skin, but there's kind of a splintering. You can hear your arrow breaking, the shaft rending when it hits this thing's stone-like skin. It doesn't really seem to react much.
I've got to get arrows that stop doing that. That's
Charlotte, is it your turn?
fast craftsmanship.
Yeah. I'm going to look at the writer again, and I'm going to do a classic magic missile.
I wish I had that spell.
And fling 1d4 plus 3 force damage at him.
You roll your dice.
I am. Look at these dice. Bam.
Wait.
Don't you get 2
Oh
more
no.
D4?
Yeah. I did that completely backwards. It's roll 3d4 plus 1.
Plus 3 each dart deals.
Plus 3.
Plus
Oh
1.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
No, you
It's been a
got it
while.
right. You just need 2 more D4 in there.
There we go. That'll fix that.
You
2
guys,
1s and a 4.
yeah, you decide to not break the tradition here. If you're gonna hit this dragon, you're gonna do it with the worst damage possible.
No, this is going right to the writer.
Oh! He is cast to the ground, and there's kind of a poof of sand. You guys see a red cape flap up into the air, no longer protected by this stone magic. And again, as he's trying to crawl up to his feet, now looking much less confident and panicked, you see the magic has worn off. He is an Ardian. He is covered in pitch black tattoos. You guys see little snakes, and they are moving. They are exploring his arms. They are twisting about on him.
I pop out.
A kind
Hey,
gesture.
you, snake dude. Call off your dragon or I'm gonna crush your brain. You're not gonna like it. I already threw some magic missiles. Yeah. Ow. Oh god. Am I bleeding still?
Roll me an intimidation check.
We're all bleeding colors.
Intimidation.
He will never, ever give up to any of you. He is going to fight to the death.
And Charlotte sees that, and he like gives him the most weirdest sight ever. He's going to flip him the bird with his tiny gnomish hand, and then like pop back behind cover. And
That brings us to Sunny's turn. Sunny, please actually do something.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes? And I'm gonna shoot at the snakes on the dude's body with my crossbow as I'm backing up. Not
He
crossbow,
is just
shortbow.
covered. The little tattoos
Riddled.
of pitch black. They're 2-dimensional, and they'll move up on his face, turn back down. They wiggle down his arms,
Oh, no.
and
Mm-mm.
yeah, go for it.
16.
That is a hit.
Are any of my allies still within 5 feet of him by any chance?
Yeah, he was up trying to slash people, so.
Alright, then I get sneak attack as well.
Strider, check Zoom when you get a second, mate.
That's
Yes.
17.
The 17 damage.
Points of damage, yeah.
He does not see you. You are popping up from behind your cover. He is looking to his sword, attacking Jericho. His hands are still pointed towards Qual, trying to cut his vision. And he doesn't even seem to notice first. Your arrow rips by him. And he kind of stops him, looks over at you, and opens his mouth as to say something, cast some kind of curse. And no noise comes out. Blood pours from the front of his throat. And it takes a minute for him to realize what's going on. He doesn't even look worried. He's hands at his throat and looks at the blood. And it clicks. And his eyes go huge. Qual, your vision comes back into being. There's still the pretty colors, but you can see now this guy's concentration's been broken.
Oh, wonderful.
He tries to step over towards Sonny and steps on his cape, falls onto his butt, and kind of falls over, just grasping two hands up at his throat to try to staunch the bleeding. This dragon knocks over one of the kegs and reaches down towards Shallot, and feet away, its claws stop in midair, and the beast moves no more.
Booper wants to boop him in the face as a bonus action.
You will boop him.
Till he dies.
Boop.
Also figuring a mighty boost on his 15 pounds, nat 1 for each of the players. Really? And a nat 20 for Strider. God damn it.
Oh man, we were
Wow.
like 30 seconds late. Ah, it's okay. I have much more nefarious things planned for the party.
Indeed.
The drumming finally stops. The people kind of realize this isn't some part of vision or hallucination. The Ardians are looking over. The sword returns to Qual's hand. Jericho stands up, looking more solemn than ever. And he says, "They found us. They know where we are." And that's where we will end episode 2 of Sands of Zehir.
Woo!
Ooh.
They know where we are. Strider, you cliffhanging bastard!
Get me off this cliff. Gonna be here for
They
a whole
know-
week now.
I imagine us at the end of the Italian Job, and we're in that van, and all the money's sliding.
That's it. Oh my lord. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us for tonight's show. If you enjoyed the show, please do let us know. If you haven't followed yet, hit the follow button and join us. Of course, check out our wonderful sponsors, D&Dice.co.uk. Some amazing, beautiful dice over there. Plastic ones, as well as some beautiful metal ones. Check out the YouTube channel for some videos and those coming up soon, actually. So, other than that, though, let's go around the custom crew. Did we enjoy ourselves? Where can we find you guys online? Oh, and also, before I forget, it's not the last time you see me tonight. I'm on at 9 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/Save or Dice. I am the Dungeon Master for Save or Dice, and you can find me over there with myself, Pruitt and Jim from WebDM Show, Dave from Nerdarchy, and Cody from Taking 20 over there. Strider, my man, excellent job tonight. What did you think of tonight's session?
Dude, I scored myself some fancy plastic new dice. They were called bone dice. I
Ooh.
think they look more like toasted marshmallows, and they are my favorite. I had a blast tonight because playing Jericho and playing with chat watching, I didn't make any notes. I didn't plan anything. He is a seat of the pants feel kind of guy that just does what feels right in the moment, and so am I. The story is writing itself with chat. The sulfur smell, I'm like, I will turn that into a workshop. They'll make siege weapons. Viewer decisions, we get to decide what the siege weapons look like, and none of this is planned out, so I had fun. There is direction moving forward, however, and we shall see who found the party next time. And I will be here 1 week from today. Thank you.
Awesome. Let's go round in some form of order. Let's start James up there. James.
Hey, thank you, Strider, for such a great game this week. Thank you, Will, for having Encounter Roleplay be a thing. It's wonderful to be playing with all of you guys almost every single week, Twitch permitting. And thank you, everyone in chat, for watching this show today. If you want to see more of what I do, I'm a game designer. I work primarily for 5th edition. I've done work with Wizards of the Coast coming out in the very near future. I think actually last weekend at a couple of gaming conventions, an adventure I wrote for the D&D Adventurers League premiered, and it's called Fire, Ash, and Ruin for your tier 3 characters. It's all sorts of demons and dragons and Mines of Moria coolness, and that'll be up on the DM's Guild in early February. You can follow me on Twitter up at that handle I've got up in the doobly-doo if you want to keep track of everything I do. And there is a lot of stuff coming out in the next couple of weeks that I want to make sure that you know about. So please follow me up there. Thanks.
Great stuff. Also, shout out to Scraticus, who's been running the production for us tonight whilst I've been fighting the Wi-Fi. Thanks, Scrat.
Scrat, if you're here, throw your face on and jack up all the cameras.
Yeah, exactly. Turn it up to 11. I think Scrat's a little bit ill at the moment. He's been suffering from the flu after a 24-hour stream, so really sympathize. Well done, Scrat, for putting us through. I can't, he says. Let's go to Alex. Zippo.
Hello, I'm Zippy Zippo. You can find me here on Twitch at Zippy_Zippo, or you can go to the Twitter doobly-doo above, and we can do variety games. That's what we do. We do variety games. We do game series. We just got through the Dishonored series. We're trekking our way through LA Noire, and we're having fun with this nice little game called Kingsway. So if that's something that interests you, come join us.
Awesome. Charlie.
Hello. You can find me on my doobly-doo, which is around here somewhere. I'm currently finishing up editing on a D&D community written book, which will be out for pre-orders at the end of the month. And tomorrow night, I'm on Young Jinxie's channel doing some more D&D, and you can see the links in that on my Twitter.
Great stuff. Thank you guys so much for joining us for tonight's show, for both Nameless Horrors, Call of Cthulhu, and the Sands of Zehir. Back same time next week, of course, in an hour and a half over on twitch.tv/SaveOrDice for Dark Fantasy Dungeons and Dragons, which will no doubt just devolve into hijinks and shenanigans, as it tends to with those guys over there. And then tomorrow we're back 1 p.m. Eastern for Tales from the Twisted Tower. God, that one's hard. And then the Great Galerium of Grunrundi. God, Thursdays is difficult. Why do we name these shows so badly? But thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you guys soon. Until next time, try not to draw too many now ones because you want to be laughing when you do. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye. Gonna wave until Scrat takes